Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. The first hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you on this Wednesday afternoon. Plenty to get into. We had playoff action last night. The NBA playoffs continue to excite, and last night it was the underdogs who came to play. We'll talk a lot of NBA over the next 3 hours, some college basketball, the transfer portal. It has finally closed, but there is a lot of news out there of where guys are going. Some players declaring for the draft, so a lot to get into with basketball. Baseball, we've already got a lot of day action behind us, some games still going in Major League Baseball, other games getting ready to starting later tonight, and also getting closer and closer to the NFL draft. Now, just under 28 hours until the draft gets started, so plenty to discuss over these next 3 hours. But Brett, how are you this afternoon?
Bryant, doing great, and I'm watching Baltimore and Kansas City now. New stadium news for the Royals downtown. It sounds like for a new ballpark, mostly privately financed. I hope that works. Boy, it's been a lot of stadiums and stuff built in the state of Missouri, and they're rolling in the money, just like the state of Tennessee, like we are. And we have not necessarily stadium news today, but Adam Silver, he speaks, and he spoke, and he talked about games possibly being played in Nashville. I'm not wild about it. I don't like it at all. I want the games played on Beale Street at FedEx Forum for what it was built for. And I don't think today is the day to go after the I know what the name of the Titans. They're the Tennessee Titans, but it's Nashville's team. As the commercial appeal said on the morning of the Tennessee Oilers versus the where were the Raiders then? Were they Los Angeles or Oakland? I think they were back in Oakland then. The Oakland Raiders. Nashville's team, Memphis's dream. We can fight that and fight that and fight that. I don't think it's worth it. It is very settled. The Titans aren't playing a game in Knoxville. They're not playing a game in Memphis. They're playing their games at the splashy new stadium. And the old stadium is still plenty sufficient. That battle has been fought and lost. I don't think it's necessary, kind of to go the whole, pardon me, damn Nashville take. I really don't. What has that gotten us? What has that gotten us to constantly be, dang Nashville? I hope that it was just some kind of warning shot. I know the clearest, easiest way to put it all behind us is for that lease to be signed by the Grizzlies. The state has done their part. The city's done their part. Some may say, well, that's Silver trying to maybe, get the city moving. The city's moved. Their part of the deal is sitting there for the Grizzlies to sign. And I think if the Grizzlies sign that, all of these issues, all this heartburn over it would go away.
Yeah, I don't think anything that Adam Silver said today was trying to play any part in the negotiations or anything between the Grizzlies and the city of Memphis for the lease. I think he's a commissioner of the NBA. He's trying to promote his product. And look, Tennessee is a big state that has one team that's in the corner of the state. I'm sure he would like to see Memphis go and play in Nashville and play different places to try to grow the NBA across the state of Tennessee. You've seen them do it with San Antonio. San Antonio plays a couple games every year, or at least they have the last couple of years in Austin. Now, very different. Austin is not a professional city. It's very much a college city with the University of Texas. So very different there between Austin and Nashville. Town. Sure, and so is Nashville. It's certainly, and
it's just boom town. Austin's boom town.
Well, I don't know. Nashville is it's
close.
It's getting crazy out there.
It's close.
It's pretty hot in Nashville, and so. And he made note of that. And so I don't think anything he said, and certainly I'm sure it was one of those things where, he tried to play it off that it wasn't noisy and that he hadn't really heard the noise of Memphis to Nashville, but it's a very noisy thing. A lot of people have talked to it. It was the biggest story in the entire NBA for like a week after LeBron said it. And so I think that was him trying to, make sure Memphis knew that the team wasn't moving, but also kind of throw Nashville bones that, hey, we'd love to do something in the city of Nashville. So I just thought it was a commissioner trying to play the game of being a commissioner. Yeah,
he wants to, to grow the pie, so to speak, but I know people are going to say, but, the Grizzlies aren't going to play at Thompson Bowling. No, they're not. And I know the Titans aren't going to play anywhere else. I just wish the lease would get signed and we could move on from there. What I'm scared of is you start that 1 or 2 games there. Well, they drew so-and-so, and the night before, the night after, you only drew this. I hope we don't ever get down to kind of the larceny, blackmail of, if you don't buy tickets, we might move.
Yeah, and I think everything we've heard, everything we've been told, and I think even today with Adam Silver, made you feel hopeful, or at least make you feel better about the lease getting signed and things moving in a positive direction. I really don't think the NBA would work in Nashville. I don't think there is that much of a market for it in Nashville. I would be fine if they played a preseason game or 2 in Nashville. But yeah, I don't want to get to a point where it's kind of threatening Memphis of you have to do X, Y, Z, or it's getting moved up to Nashville.
Yeah, I don't know why we're kind of having to go through this. Most of it is because of the protracted lease negotiations that are there to be signed, and I think should be signed, and that would cause people to move on. Brian, way back, and I was too small. We never went because it was I was real little. The St. Louis Hawks would play games regularly in Memphis when the Coliseum was new, and I know this is probably hard for people to believe, but it was splashy, great building, brand new. 1966, 67. The Hawks would come in regularly and play, I think, on Mondays. That was before wrestling took over at the Coliseum, but they would play a lot. Drew okay. Well, then they weren't that pleased with it, so they said, well, let's try Atlanta. They were playing it on campus at the Coliseum on campus that Georgia Tech still plays in, been remodeled 1 million times. And then Atlanta, part of their process of becoming the original boom town that Austin and Nashville now are emulating. Charlotte's also done it. They said, okay, we'll build you move here. They did. We'll build the Omni. They did. And then they've been the Hawks ever since.
Yeah. And so, things like that have happened. I don't want the Grizzlies to get in a situation where, like you said, they are threatened. But, for anybody who didn't see these comments, they were made by Adam Silver. He was doing an interview on the podcast Pardon My Take. A lot of positives from it. Obviously the one that a lot of people are latching onto is the games in Nashville, but said his kind of first statements about it, he said, quote, well, first of all, players I talk to all the time like playing in Memphis. I've never heard that issue of players not wanting to be in Memphis. Then continued to add that Robert Pera has no interest in moving the team from Memphis. That, quote, he has made that clear, but did also add that he would love to see them play some games in Nashville and sort of become Tennessee's team to the extent they could, and then also added that Memphis has been a great market for the NBA historically, and so all positive other than what it feels like everyone's latching onto, which is the games in Nashville.
Yeah, I think the big headline should be that he's pleased and they're not going anywhere, but I know where people are going with it. If there's anybody out there within the sound of my voice that went to one of those Hawks games at the Coliseum, please text us right now. I would love to know, because it was before my time, and I've got the Hawks schedule up from that year. Man, they played all over the place. They played some games in Charleston, West Virginia, but a lot of Memphis. They tried Tampa. But they were really, they were looking to go, and they tried Kansas City naturally, and a time or two in Atlanta, and a lot of games. Look at there. They even played one in Nashville against the San Francisco Warriors.
Wow. So even going over to Nashville. So Nashville's been through this once before, but
played in Pittsburgh.
Interesting. So yeah, I think the takeaway should be positive from what Adam Silver said today, and now just another person saying that there is that commitment from Robert Pera to the city of Memphis, to the Grizzlies, that they're not moving anywhere, and hopefully over this offseason, I know we talked about it a little bit with Rob Fisher last week, I believe, about that he thinks we're going to get some really positive traction this offseason for something to be signed. Hopefully that gets done this offseason. We can go into next year talking about this new era, a lottery pick that will hopefully be the leader of the team in the future, and it's staying in Memphis and really no fear of any move in the near future.
But we are fearful. We are scared here.
I'm really not, Brett. I think the deal's going to get signed. I think I think everything's going to be fine.
Because your generation doesn't know the being burned.
No.
And that's good.
No, but I just think, and I know what you're going to say, and I know how everything, we say it all the time whenever we talk about this. People lie. I get it. But the commissioner, the general manager, people inside that we've talked to, everybody says Memphis isn't going anywhere. That the deal's going to get signed eventually. Everything's going to be fine. They could all be lying, but all I can do is take people for their word and hope that they're not lying to me. And so when multiple people are saying the same thing, I'm going to trust that the deal's going to get signed and everything's going to be fine.
I do too. I share that with you, but I share from the generation of being burned.
Sure.
But look, there's a lot of people. I'm not saying I was in this camp, but I probably was more I probably dabbled in this camp more than on the other side. There have been people talking about the Grizzlies moving since the day they got here.
No, they absolutely have, and will continue. Whether the lease could get signed in 2 weeks from after that, they'll say, well, the lease is signed now, but that next day it's going to be they're going to be gone. I mean, it's
year one playing at the Pyramid, no doubt. I mean, the construction was happening behind Beale Street for what would be FedEx Forum. Middle part of that year, I'm going to say, so they moved fall of 01. I'm going to say around February or so. Person telling me the building will never get finished. They'll never play a game there.
Wow.
Year one.
Yeah.
Bet you hadn't played 20 home games yet.
Wow.
When that was said, I said, no, you're crazy. I mean, that's crazy talk. Well, they did. Then early into FedEx Forum, like the first time the lease or whatever kind of came due or whatever contractual terms, they're as good as gone. I have heard that since they got here that they were leaving.
Yeah. They've still been around. Hopefully they stay around, but we'll have to wait and see whenever that deal gets signed. But talking NBA, 3 games last night. It was upset night around the association. The 76ers on the road against the Celtics. They get the win. The Trailblazers on the road against the Spurs. They get the win. And even though the Lakers were at home, I believe that line closed around 6.5 in favor of the Rockets. They get the win at home, and now out of nowhere, they're up 2-0 against Houston. I don't know what was in the water last night, but the underdogs came to play.
They did come to play, and we've got fun. We've got almost hockey-type real series going, I think, NBA. Let me see some 2-1s, though.
Sure, yeah, and we'll wait to see if some of these teams can take advantage going back to their home building, and we'll see what happens tonight. Obviously, Magic Pistons is the one everyone is interested in after the Magic won Game 1 in Detroit. We'll see if Detroit looks better tonight at home, gets a win there in Game 2, and then Suns Thunder, Oklahoma City, a 17.5-point favorite over the Phoenix Suns, which is just an insane line when you're talking about
that's a 2 versus
basketball.
15.
It really is. I mean, that is just unheard of. But we'll see if the Thunder cover that spread, or maybe we get some more wackiness and the Suns come to play later tonight in Oklahoma City. But we've got a busy show this afternoon, so let me set it up before we get to top and not top story of the day. 3:30, Taylor Zarzer from up in Nashville with the Titans Radio Network. He's going to join us. We'll talk Titans. We'll talk draft. We'll talk Super Bowl heading to Nashville. All things Titans coming your way in the next segment. We might get some other things with Taylor, but it will be a lot of Titans and draft talk with the draft starting tomorrow night. 3:45, we'll get back into these NBA playoff series, talk about what we saw last night and what we expect to see later tonight in these two games. Again, 6 o'clock on ESPN, Magic at Pistons, and then 8:30 on ESPN, the Suns and the Thunder. 4 o'clock, John Goen from Timber Trust. He'll join us. We'll talk some golf and make our weekly picks with John. And we're going to have some tough conversations with John, because I still think there were some things going on behind the scenes that he doesn't want us to know, and he's not telling us.
He left the scene.
He did.
And made a pick.
So, I'm saying I'm trusting.
Asterisk?
I don't know, Brett. All I know is I'm saying I'm trusting the people around the Grizzlies, saying that the Grizzlies are going to be fine. I'm not trusting John Goen when he says there's no funny business going on.
I mean, John goes off the grid, makes it, and rejoins, and has Matthew Fitzpatrick.
Maybe I'm the hypocrite for saying I'll trust some people and not others, but I'm not trusting John.
We can trust John.
I don't know.
It was a great pick.
Well, we'll see. He's gonna have to lose this weekend for me to be able to trust him.
Well, you got first pick.
I know I do, and we'll see where I go with that. But we'll talk golf.
Team competition in New Orleans.
Yeah, I don't. I'm not a huge fan of the team competition, but whatever. It's one weekend.
It's the last year of it.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So we can get through one more of them. But we'll do all that at 4 o'clock, 4:30. We'll get into the NFL draft, as at that point we'll really be counting down the hours to the first round of the NFL draft. Talk about that top 10, where some guys could come. Again, as we get closer to draft, the more smoke screens come out of these teams trying to either tell people who they're taking or maybe tell people who they're not going to take. So we'll talk all that at 4:30. 4:45, big number of the day. 5 o'clock, Rob Fisher from the Grizzlies TV network. He'll join us. We'll talk a lot of NBA with Rob, everything going on in the playoffs. We'll also get his thoughts on what Adam Silver said earlier today. 5:30, we'll talk about what's trending, and at 5:45, we'll wrap up today's show like we always do with Moe's Crunch Time. Let me remind you, we're in our Family Leisure Studios where family and fun come together. The Hot Tub and Swim Spa Expo, it's going on right now through May 10th. 7 manufacturers are battling for your business in the battle of the brands. Hot tubs starting at $34.99 and swim spas starting at just $16,999. Mention this ad and receive a free cover lift with your spa purchase. So head out there to Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40.
We are Sportstime, and we're live and local and with you until 6 o'clock. We want you to be with us by texting or calling 901-360-8255. That's the Sissy's Log Cabin text and talk line. All our guests will join us on the Sissy's Log Cabin guest line at 901-360-8255. I'm Brad. He's Bryant. Our producer's Landon Schmidt. And we're always from our Family Leisure Studios. In this hour brought to you every day by Lexus of Memphis. They're at 2600 Ridgeway and online at lexusofmemphis.com. Great offers on all 2026 models and always special leasing options. Drive in luxury and confidence, knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. You can call them at 901-334-9673, but they invite you to stop by the only Lexus dealership in Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway, and that's where you can put yourself in the driver's seat of the all-new 2026 flagship LS500, and you'll be looking and you'll be driving in style. When you purchase a Lexus, you get top-of-the-line engineering and design, and they make for the safe luxury driving experience. Online at lexusofmemphis.com. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Top story of the day.
Well, my top story of the day, it does come from the NBA, but it really doesn't have anything to do with the games that were played last night, even though it has to do with the Trailblazers. They had the nice win last night over the Spurs in San Antonio, but this has to do with their owner, which it just gets more ridiculous and more ridiculous
Mr.
by the day.
Cheapskate.
I mean, he really is, and it's just crazy. Now, at first when we talked about it on Monday, all I knew about it was that, he didn't send the two-way guys on the trip down to San Antonio, which I didn't love because I was like, those two-way guys, they've played roles for your team. They should at least get to go, but those guys aren't eligible in postseason play, so I was like, I guess I can understand making that decision. But then to hear about no T-shirts or towels or anything for the fans at home games, not sending the team photographer on the
no
on the
tickets,
trip.
no complimentary tickets for team employees.
I didn't know that either. How about that? I'm learning things as
well,
I go.
Every story gets worse.
The late checkouts where everyone's got to be out at a certain time. That's like earlier than when they're actually supposed to be out so that they don't even risk the late checkout. The team masseuse is like having to set up in their hotel room to get guys loose before. I mean, it's just ridiculous. And then to top it all off, what really sent me over the edge, these reports coming out about Tiago Splitter and the lowball offers that the Blazers were trying to give him to be the permanent head coach, and how they've already interviewed like 20 other coaches to replace him in Portland. Personally, if I had a vote for Coach of the Year, Tiago Splitter would get my vote for Coach of the Year, and it has nothing to do with that game last night. The head coach of the Trailblazers was arrested for operating a gambling ring, and Tiago Splitter, who has had no head coaching experience before this, steps in and gets his team to the playoffs. I thought the ink should already be dry on a contract for him to be the head coach, but everything coming out about the story is just ridiculous. And again, back to the t-shirts, like it doesn't cost anything to make these t-shirts that they give out at these games to the fans. Like, we can't even just do that. I mean, that feels like the bare minimum. I mean, those shirts cost nothing, and we can't even do that. I mean, it's ridiculous.
I bet he's fun at Christmas time.
I'm sure he is. I don't even know his name. I don't even want to know his name. He's ridiculous.
My top story, it's a top story, but I think the takeaway, the big headline should be what Adam Silver said about Memphis in the future. Nothing's changing, but everybody's going to cherry pick. Everybody's going to go to the more salacious aspects of it. And I think I'm tired of the warning shots. I don't think we need any more of those, and I don't think it's a very good idea. But the Grizzlies are staying. The simplest thing, sign that lease, and it stops all this.
Yep, absolutely.
Not top story of the day.
Well, my not top story of the day, it is the playoff action that we saw last night. The underdogs came to play the first two games. It was the road teams that got the wins. Both 7 seeds, the 76ers, they go out there and beat the Boston Celtics in Boston. The Trailblazers beat the Spurs in San Antonio. Now in San Antonio, the Spurs were doing it mostly without Victor Wembanyama, who left the game after playing 12 minutes after suffering a concussion when he hit the ground extremely hard. They're hoping that he'll be back for game 3, but oh boy, that is not a long time to get through concussion protocol before their next game Friday night. But it was impressive what Portland did and what Scoot Henderson did. 31 points for him, 5 for 9 from 3. A lot of people kind of forgetting about Scoot Henderson in that same draft as Victor Wembanyama, but it's taken him a lot longer to figure things out. But all throughout the play-in, through this first round, he has looked extremely comfortable on the court with this Portland team. Against everyone he has faced, he has looked really, really good. And then that 76ers team, in the first game where they really could not buy a shot from three-point range, they make 19 in their second game against Boston. 19 for 39, that's 49%. They beat the Celtics. VJ Edgecombe, he was really, really good. Tyrese Maxey, he was really, really good. Those were the 2 stars of the night for the 76ers. And then the final game, the Lakers, in a second straight home game, are underdogs again to the Rockets. We asked yesterday, would KD be playing? He was a game-time decision. He was in the lineup and played. Had a great first half. Really struggled in the second half, and the Lakers get another win at home, 101-94. Now they'll head back to Houston up 2-0. We'll see if the Lakers, without Luka, can win this series against Houston.
My not top story, you look around sports and just look at all these showplaces of stadiums and arenas that are going up. Oklahoma City getting a new one. The great arena that the University of Texas built on campus, one of the bigger reasons why San Antonio wants to go there, because it's suitable for NBA and how that place is growing. The new football stadium for the Chiefs the Kansas City Chiefs are moving, but they're staying in Kansas City. It's just going to Kansas City, Kansas. And now the news today about the Royals. We know in D.C. what Washington's spending, in Cleveland, and for the Bears, for the Browns, everybody. They're just popping up everywhere. Now in Kansas City, this sounds like it's mostly privately financed with some tax dollars, but not the whole bit. And meanwhile, the state of Tennessee has allocated the money for the Grizzlies. The city of Memphis, all they need is the other partner, that's the Grizzlies, to sign it. Just as I ended my top story, I end my not top story. Sign the lease, and all of this goes away.
Yeah, it feels like the priority number 1 this offseason for that lease to get signed. But this is really the first time I've thought about it. I would love for somebody to explain to somebody over in like Germany or like the United Kingdom, Kansas City moving to Kansas City in a completely different state. I would love to do that with somebody that does not know geography in America, because that is like, that's just the wackiest thing.
And up there they call the Arkansas River, well, they call the river the Arkansas.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
That's not how you pronounce it.
No, that's not how you pronounce it.
But they do there.
Interesting. That is some weird stuff going on up there. But that'll do it for top and not top story of the day. Let's get to a break, and when we return, we're talking the Titans. We're talking the draft. Taylor Zarzer, he joins us next.
Start your day with Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10, right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Unlock your new go-to spot, Codes Dispensary in Steele, Missouri, just over an hour from Memphis. When you're ready for a legal, reliable option, they're right up the road. Explore the full menu of top-shelf products in-store and online. Short on time? Order ahead and cruise through the drive-thru for a quick pickup. Stack rewards while you stock up with Club Codes. Earn points for every dollar spent. Codes Dispensary, now open in Steele, Missouri. Supreme cannabis that's worth the drive. Learn more at codesdispensary.com. That's codesdispensary.com. Looking for sports in all the wrong places? Try the Owner's Box Sports Bar and Grill in Lakeland's Town Square. Fun, exciting, friendly, and comfortable with wall-to-wall TVs. 24 taps for all your beers, including $3 domestic and $5 craft pints on Mondays. Monday through Friday, 3 to 6 happy hour. Music bingo Tuesdays. Daily specials and online ordering. The Owner's Box Sports Bar and Grill in Lakeland's Town Square. Highway 70. Check Facebook for daily specials and weekend music at the Owner's Box.
Air. We breathe it naturally. Simple, right? Not so fast. The air you breathe could be hazardous to your health. Don't guess. Be sure with a phone call to the Memphis Mold Inspector, the only licensed mold assessor in the Mid-South. Call the Memphis Mold Inspector to check the air quality inside your home and office. Protect babies, pets, new homes, old homes, employees, friends, loved ones, and you. Just call 901-292-7788 for clean air and peace of mind. 901-292-7788 for the Memphis Mold Inspector.
I got him on the line out there in Gossett Volkswagen Germantown. Hey, Marty McNate, what's going on?
I've got some big news. Volkswagen Driver Days is going on at Gossett Volkswagen Germantown.
And I hear you've got some incredible deals happening right now.
You heard right, Randy. I got 2026 Jetta S, $277 a month.
$277 a month for Jetta. Hey, what else you got?
How about 2026 Taos S, $327 a month.
$327 a month for Taos S, and I hear you got a Tiguan deal out of this world.
2026 Tiguan S, $355 a month.
Well, it sounds like you got something for everyone.
Come see me, Marty McNate, at Gossett Volkswagen Germantown, 7420 Winchester Road, or shop online at GossettVWG.com. And remember, your future is what you make it.
36 month lease, Jetta SM 10428, MSRP 26426, Taos SM 06162, MSRP 27011, Jetta TM 05137, MSRP 25H20, Taos S TM 108 191, MSRP 29101, Tiguan TM 01450, MSRP 32585, includes all rebates and incentives, PF 895, excludes high federal license with approved credit, see the complete details, offering score 3026, dealer stock only.
Nestled in the heart of East Memphis, located corner of Park and Cherry, is a beautiful residential neighborhood. I'm here at Town Village Audubon Park interviewing a new resident, Carolyn. Share with us why you chose Town Village.
Well, if your parents or special friends need to make that big move, let me share with you my experience. It was tough for me to leave home, but then I discovered Town Village. I would like to highly recommend Town Village to you and your loved ones. After looking at all the amenities and meeting all the people and staff, I was hooked. From restaurant, bistro, 3 meals per day, housekeeping, transportation, security, health care, physical therapy, exercise room, and even a heated pool and spa. Come see us and make your new home at Town Village.
Visit us and call Daniel at Town Village Audubon Park at 901-374-7342. There's no place like home, Town Village.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. Midtown traffic on the increase quite a bit, actually, in the last few minutes. 240 south here at South Parkway. Moving right now on I-40 as you head out into Fayette County. They were wrapping up that earlier right over here near the 101 connector. It seems like it's taking forever. On 40 east there at Watkins, again, it's over to the right-hand side. Hey, don't let a slipping transmission make things worse on your car or truck. If you're having transmission problems, come to Amco Transmissions right here in Memphis with 2 locations. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you, and we got to talk some Titans as we head up to Nashville. The draft right around the corner tomorrow night, and joining us now to talk all things Titans, it is Taylor Zarzour. Taylor, thanks so much for joining us. A lot to get to, but obviously wanted to start off with the news that came out earlier about the passing of Coach Mack. Obviously, just terrible news to hear. We're definitely sending our prayers and thoughts up to y'all up in Nashville.
Thank you, Brian. It's been a really hard last 9 days, and honestly, last couple of months as Coach was battling some health issues, and he's just a giant in our community and a giant really in all of football. And you know, we're going to feel his loss every single day, and but we're also going to be carrying things on in his honor. And one of the things that he loved most in life was the NFL draft, and his preparation for it was just extraordinary. And it's something that'll be all over our minds as we prepare to broadcast the draft tomorrow and Friday.
It will be very different for you. Like, you know, last year, your first year, you could lean on that steady hand that he had. And Taylor, I said when news broke, you could ride all over the South and hear the Titans broadcast for a long time with Mike Keith. Last year, it sounded so great with you, and you could listen to him and learn football. He was entertaining and thoughtful.
You know, Brett, the first thing that Mike Keith said to me when I took this job was, you need to become Coach Mack's best friend. He's like, you know, just utilize him as much as possible, just be a sponge. And that was great advice. And I just had no idea the friendship, the connection that we would create in the last year plus. And that man checked on me every day, and I checked on him. I mean, it just became a real bond, and his knowledge of the game, but his passion for wanting to share it with others is what I will miss so much. He never made you feel like he knew more than you. He did, but he never made you feel like he was talking down to you, or that, you know, he was trying to tell you how to think. He was excited to share the knowledge that he had of football with everyone else. And the fact that I got to sit next to that man in the broadcast booth, in the back of the bus, on the team plane, dine with him, be in the office every day, stand next to him at practice, it was truly one of the most fulfilling things I've ever done in my life. And I'm going to miss him terribly. You sent me a really kind message at the Masters, and that was a wonderful experience, but I knew that he did not have much time left. And fortunately, I was able to get back to Nashville last Monday and say goodbye right before he passed. And I'm grateful for that and grateful for the time I had with him, but I sure am going to miss him.
Taylor, you're one of my heroes, man. You're out there doing the NFL with the Titans, doing college football on Saturday. You're living at an airport and at Augusta National with all the golf radio. That the experiences you've already had. Now, let me ask you: do you go back? Did you grow up with, or do you just know real well from growing up, Jake Peavy?
his mother, Debbie, and my mother, Catherine, have been best friends their entire life.
I thought it was that connection.
He's. I think we've introduced each other as cousins our entire life. And that,
it counts.
And that friendship still continues today.
Yeah, it counts. In fact, I've got that kind of childhood friend that his son introduced me to someone around town as his cousin, and we don't have a drop of blood.
Yeah, exactly.
But I know the feeling. But I knew that, and I see him on MLB, and I swear I can hear a lot of you in him, and him in you.
Yeah, we're cut from a very similar cloth, that's for sure. I am really proud of him, and obviously had an incredible career winning the Cy Young and winning a couple world championships, but he is crushing it on MLB Network.
Yeah. No, he definitely is. Well, up in Nashville with the Titans, it's a lot of new. We had the new logo and jerseys unveiled earlier this offseason. The new stadium is getting built, but last year it was a new quarterback. So before we get to this offseason, this draft, what did you make of Cam Ward in year one and the progress you saw from him throughout the season?
I was really impressed. I was impressed by him off of the field and his passion for the game and just the leadership that he showed throughout the year, how he never blinked playing on a team that only won 3 games. And then I was really impressed by the progress that he made on the field, especially as the season continued and into December and into January. It was unfortunate to have that injury in the last game, but I thought overall, without a whole lot of parts around him, a lot of undeveloped parts around him, and a ton of injuries on offense, and a coaching staff that obviously wasn't going to be here anymore, I thought that Cam, in that sort of circumstance, really showed some progress, and I think that, he's going to be much better for it in year 2 and in the future. And I think Bryant, the big thing now is to get some parts around him.
And who will those parts be? That 4th pick, it's hanging out there big. I don't think you can go wrong. I think we're all team running back.
Yeah. Well, if he's there at the 4th pick, I think that it's something that the team would obviously seriously consider and has. Jeremiah Love is arguably the best prospect in the NFL draft. Certainly he's the most coveted offensive prospect in the draft. But, I think one big question is, will he be there with the 4th pick in the draft? And then, the other thing is the Titans have to address a number of things. As Mike Borgonzi, their general manager, has said, this team needs to keep stacking drafts. I really think they stacked the last draft with a number of players that contributed immediately on that team last year. And they need to do that in this year's draft and candidly probably in another draft after that. Everybody knew that this was something that was going to be a hard reset for the team. And I think you're going to see considerable progress, especially with the new coaching staff that you have, the free agents that have been signed in the last couple of months. But as Mike Borgonzi says, the way you really build a championship-level team is through the draft. And so if it's Jeremiah Love with the 4th pick, or if it's Arvell Reese, or if it's Sonny Styles, or if it's trading down to get more picks, I honestly mean this. If they didn't draft Cam Ward with the 1st pick last year and said, we're going to go with an offensive lineman or a pass rusher, I think everybody would have been really frustrated because they had to have a franchise quarterback. I'm not trying to dodge the question here. I mean this. I said this on the field to somebody earlier today as they were, going through workouts right now. If they take the best pass rusher, if they take the best off-ball linebacker, if they take the best offensive lineman, if they take the best running back, or if they trade down and get a couple of picks in the 1st round, I really would. I'd be thrilled with any of those directions because the Titans need to get a handful more great players to put on this roster. And, if you look at what Mike Borgonzi and the Kansas City Chiefs did, that's exactly what they did. If you go back to 2012, 2013, 2014, they put one of the best players at their respective positions on the field immediately. And there's more of that needs to be done here with the Titans right now.
Taylor, truly, every single comment, subject matter, it leads to a next one. And I said this a few weeks ago with Ezekiel Elliott from St. Louis, Jeremiah Love from St. Louis. That's ending. Eli Drinkwitz getting ready to start getting all those type of players out of St. Louis. They're not going to Notre Dame and Ohio State. He will keep them.
It's a good point. Yeah, he's you think of what he's done in his home state the last few years. He's built a really good program there, and he's gone to that area and he's gotten some top shelf talent out of high schools in that region. So you're probably right.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned new coaching staff with the Titans, Robert Saleh taking over as the head coach. What do you think of him coming in, and what have you seen from him since he has taken over?
I see a bunch of people that have done this before, is what I see. Robert Saleh has been a head coach before. He's been a defensive coordinator in the league for a long time, and he'll be calling the plays on defense for the Titans. And Brian Daboll, you go out there and you watch these guys interact with the players, and Brian Daboll is essentially the head coach of the offense. He's been an offensive coordinator for a long time. John Bones Fossil, who's the special teams coach that the Titans thankfully retained, has been a head coach in the National Football League, working with Coach Mack and Coach Fisher with the Los Angeles Rams years ago. And Gus Bradley has been a head coach in the National Football League, and he is, I guess by title, he's the defensive coordinator, but he is standing arm in arm with Robert Saleh, who he worked with at the 49ers last year, and both of them come over. I just see a whole lot of experience, a lot of guys that have done this before. And I think through those experiences, they've learned what not to do, and they've doubled down on what to do. And I think that is really going to benefit the Titans. I think that, game management is something that the Titans really needed to covet this offseason. And you have 4 guys that have been head coaches in the league that are all part of the game day experience now, which I think is so vital. So I think this thing is headed in the right direction, guys. I don't know what the win total will end up being in 2026, but because of the coaching staff, because of the young players, and because of what they've done in free agency, I think there's going to be a lot to be excited about with the Titans in 2026 and beyond.
Taylor, you may have a moratorium on speaking on this subject. I'll just say this, though. We don't need anything on the 50. Bryant and I just need 4 tickets between the 30s for the Super Bowl in 2030.
Let's go. I don't have any confirmation of anything that's happening here in Nashville, but I'm just going to say this. Man, if that does happen, can you imagine how big of a deal that is going to be for our great state?
Ever.
For people coming from all over the world to our great state. And if you see this thing being built right now, and it's obviously less than a year from being finished, and you go down on Broadway and then you take the pedestrian bridge over to the stadium, and you just start daydreaming about all of the events that are going to come here, whether it's the Super Bowl, whether it's Final Four, it's the national championship in college football, it's, a number of other big events, whether it's sports and beyond. It's something to really be proud of, and I cannot wait, whenever it is, to be in that stadium, and I will go ahead and make that request right now. But Landon, being the passionate Titans fan that he is, he's number 1 on that list.
He gets dibs over us. He for sure does, because he is super fan. Taylor, he is. Taylor at Augusta National, Scotty almost came back, and he makes he is very open about. I don't know if he says it quite this brusquely, but he's not Tiger. He didn't have that list of Jack's Majors up on the back of his bedroom door, but he wants to win. But he's got a full life. Do you think it burns hot enough for him?
Does it burn hot enough for Scotty or burn hot enough for Rory?
For Scotty.
For Scotty, oh man, it burns hot.
Okay,
Brett.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, this guy plays like he's broke. This guy plays like he doesn't have a dollar to his name. He is as competitive and fiery as anybody I've ever seen play the game, Tiger Woods included. Tiger's talent is the most extraordinary thing I've ever seen. And Jack Nicklaus, if he were on the line with us right now, would agree with that. Nobody has ever had the talent that Tiger's had. But Scotty's mind Jack Nicklaus might be the only other person that's ever played the game that has had the mind that Scotty has, where he is just concentrating on the next shot and only thinking about what to do and the right thing to do with it. I really admire how competitive he is and how badly he wants to win the next tournament. He's talked about how he cannot handle winning the present tournament because he doesn't know what to do when it's over. He's already thinking about the next one. Nick Saban had that. Michael Jordan had that. Tiger Woods, to a degree, had that, and Jack Nicklaus certainly had it. But Scotty the fire burns very bright for Scotty Scheffler winning tournaments. Rory McIlroy would tell you he struggles just with random tournaments. That he's now thinking about the biggest tournaments. Sure. Okay, now I'd like to win a U.S. Open at Pebble. Now I'd like to win a British Open at St. Andrews. And now I'd like to get to 10 major championships. But he's not going to be as passionate about regular tournaments anymore because he feels like he's done enough of that. Scotty Scheffler is not there. Scotty Scheffler wants to win all of the tournaments. Mm-hmm. And I guarantee you that he was fired up last Sunday at Hilton Head and the Sunday before that at Augusta. Second place doesn't mean anything to him. He really, really wants to win. And the best way I could describe it is the man plays broke.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, you can see it watching him play. But Taylor, it's been a blast to get you on and talk a little bit of everything, a lot of Titans. Enjoy draft weekend and enjoy the offseason. We'll definitely have to do this again before the start of the season.
Guys, you call me anytime, and I hope to see you here in Nashville soon. I love coming over there to Memphis, to West Tennessee, and give all my best to everybody over there. It's an exciting time for the Titans, and excited to see all these names that are going to be called in the next couple of days.
Yeah. Thank you, Taylor.
Thanks, Taylor.
You are the best.
All right,
Thank you, man.
Appreciate you guys.
You got it.
Taylor Zarz are joining us to talk all things Titans, as it will be a big draft up there. And Landon, I know we've talked about this, especially off air, about the new logo and jerseys. And I'm pretty sure when everything was unveiled, I said, I really like the jerseys. Not a huge fan on the logo. The logo's grown on me. I don't mind the logo.
I think that's exactly what's going to have to happen.
Yeah.
I was not huge on the logo either, but the more and more it's kind of meshing in with everything, it's
growing
slowly growing on me.
I think the first time I saw it, it was like so different that it was just
so
stark.
Yeah, because you're so used to the flames and how loud everything
was.
So
minimalistic.
Now it's just so simple.
Yeah, and so I was like, I don't like it. But as I've kind of looked at it more,
it grows
I kind of
on
like it.
Landon's got dibs on the Super Bowl tickets.
As he should.
I do.
I mean, honestly, it should go to,
I should be in the front row.
To Landon. You should be. But it's going to be big. It feels like, when he was talking about it, obviously very different between NFL and NBA and Grizzlies and Titans. But, he kind of made it sound like, hey, best available is what the Titans need to go into this draft thing. It kind of feels like what the Grizzlies are going to have to do in this NBA draft.
Get ball players.
The best player on the board that you think can be the best player, regardless of position, that's who you have to go out there and get. And I think that's kind of where the Titans are sitting right now ahead of this draft. But let's go ahead, get to another break. And when we return, we're going to talk some more NBA. The playoffs, they're off and rolling. 3 really interesting games last night. We'll discuss it next on Sports Time.
Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Available locally on your radio dial as well as around the world online at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, just say, Alexa, play Sports 56. Wherever you are, it's easy to stay tuned to Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Old Dominick Distillery is pouring Memphis pride into Memphis Zoo. April 24th, experience the Tennessee Whiskey Trail at Roar and Pour at Memphis Zoo. Sip your way through Tennessee spirits from distilleries such as Old Dominick Distillery, Chattanooga Whiskey, Company Distilling, Jack Daniel Distillery, Old Smoky Distillery, and more, all while exploring the zoo. Whiskey lovers, celebrate Tennessee's rich distilling tradition at Roar and Pour with Old Dominick Distillery. Cheers to Memphis. Learn more at olddominick.com. Your home is your best investment, so why not make it the best it can be with help from Gates Lumber? Start with your front door, serving 2 purposes, curb appeal and security. Gates has solid construction doors built for security, durability, and beauty. See and compare wood, steel, and fiberglass options side by side at Gates Showroom. It's easier to choose when you can see and touch real doors with real assistance from knowledgeable staff helping you choose the right door for your home and budget. So don't just replace your door, upgrade your protection, and Gates Lumber is the right choice. Family owned and operated, serving you for over 100 years with free estimates, free delivery, competitive prices, and quality products. Call 901-942-3201, go to gateslumber.com, or come by their showroom, 1253 South Bellevue Boulevard. Gates Lumber, celebrating over 100 years with a passion for craftsmanship since 1920.
Spring Black Friday is on at the Home Depot. Save on grills and patio sets that will be sure to bring your hosting game up a notch. Fire up your feast with help from the Home Depot and save on grills. Like the Next Grill 4-burner propane gas grill was $249, now in special buy for $199. Or give everyone the best seat in the yard with the Hampton Bay Mayfield Park 4-piece conversation set for only $399. Save on grills and patio sets with low prices guaranteed during Spring Black Friday only at the Home Depot. Now through April 22nd while supplies last. Exclusions apply. See homedepot.com/price match for details.
Napa Cafe celebrates 28 years in 2026.
Hi, I'm Glenda Hastings, owner of Napa Cafe, and I want to thank you for making us part of your dining experiences. If you are a first-time guest or have dined with us countless times, I want to thank you for making us part of your lives. Whether you're celebrating with the crowd or planning a cozy date night on the town, Napa Cafe can provide you an extraordinary evening. We have 5 dining rooms, including our private wine cellar, our Jan's room for 2 guests, and the Eleanor room for parties up to 60. Sit back, relax, and celebrate. Leave the cooking to us. Come see me at Napa Cafe, 5101 Sanderlin Avenue. We're open Wednesday through Saturday for dinner starting at 5 o'clock. We also offer curbside pickup from our full menu. For details on our stay-in, dine-out menu or reservations, visit our website at napacafe.com. We can't wait to serve you.
Come join in and celebrate 28 years of Napa Cafe in 2026.
Injured in an accident?
NST is the way to go. Call 68370.
For more than 35 years, NST Injury Law has been fighting for Memphis families. When insurance companies try to delay, deny, or underpay, NST steps in to fight back. No fees unless you win.
NST is the way to go. Call 68370. They've got the fight, they've got the heart.
NST is the way to go. Call 683-7000.
Breaking news for your home. Wayday. Wayfair's big sale is almost here, and you can score the best deals in home. Like up to 80% off everything home. Yes, you heard that right. 80% off with free shipping on everything. Plus surprise flash deals all Wayday long. We're talking outdoor furniture and essentials, rugs, and more. All at Wayfair, and all up to 80% off during Wayday. Shop Wayfair's Wayday from April 25th through 27th.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Well, we talked about the 3 underdogs all winning last night. 2 of them on the road. The 76ers, they got the big win over Boston, 111-97. The Trailblazers, 106-103 over the Spurs. And the Lakers at home, 101-94. That last game has been the weird one because the Lakers have been hosting. They're the better seed. Both these games in LA, but because mainly Luka Doncic isn't playing, they have been the underdogs in both these games, but have won both outright. 101-94 last night. KD was in, which was different from game 1. Really good first half for him, really struggled in the second half, and now the Lakers, they look up and they're up 2-0.
Yeah, we've got hockey drama with the NBA playoffs. 5-1-1 series, 1-2-0 series, 2 tonight that are 1-0. No doubter in Oklahoma City, but in Motown, the Pistons for the first time this year they're facing not must win, but really need this one, and they haven't played under any pressure like that. And then the Lakers, like you said, there they are 2-0, but shockingly San Antonio 1-1. An injury contributed to it, and they can happen. You never know when they're going to happen. You don't want them to happen. But that other team, they didn't mean for it to happen, but they're going to take the fruits of it.
Yeah, no, they definitely are. And so, I'll be really curious with this injury to Wemby in concussion protocol, which I think watching that play and how it happened, I think it was good to see that it was only a concussion for him because it looked really, really ugly when he hit the floor, how hard he hit the floor, being that tall and big, falling to the ground. A lot can happen. But, you looked on the other side, and Scoot Henderson, we mentioned him earlier, 31 points last night, 5 for 9 from 3. Scoot's averaging almost 15 points a game this year.
Kind of forget he's out there.
You really do. And, it's taken him a while to, figure out what type of player he is in this league. But, it feels like he's starting to play with some confidence. I just don't know if he can give you 30 points every single game. And they needed all 30 of them last night, only winning that game by 3 points, and it looked like the Spurs were going to win it late. So even if Wemby doesn't play in that game Friday night, I still kind of like the Spurs on the road to win that game with all the talent they have.
I do too. You talked about it more off there. I like the color setup in San Antonio, and they go back to the ABA. It looks, and how about this for a nickname? It looks very Miami Floridians.
I like that. It does.
Over under on the amount of time they spent on the nickname Floridians. 25 seconds. Over under.
I'll take the under on that. I think that was a lob right there.
Right up there with the World Football League for the Honolulu team. Landon, you'll love this. They kept it simple. Hawaiians.
Oh, perfect. Don't make anything difficult.
Time's money.
Yeah, the name's right there. Just take it.
Miami Floridians, Honolulu Hawaiians.
I love that.
Time's money. But
easy.
Philadelphia beating Boston.
Yeah, no, that was a big surprise last night, especially doing it in Boston. But it was the 3-point shooting. 76ers really could not buy a 3-pointer in that first game, and then last night just really shooting the cover off the ball. Nearly 50% from 3.
Are we sure the NBA playoffs have been better than the hockey?
No,
No, I am sure. The upsets the 1-1s have caused it. They were better anyway, but no, they are better.
I think they're both pretty much on a similar level for me. The hockey has been unbelievable this first round, and really
the tension in the hockey.
Oh no, it's
Brian, I don't remember this much fighting in Stanley Cup playoffs.
Yeah, no, it's gotten hectic, and last night I think was a good example of it. It felt like every game guys were throwing down last night over in the NHL.
Bloody noses.
Yeah. Oh man, it was.
Which that's good morning in hockey.
Sure, but no, it gets.
Didn't I see one of the Kachucks wanting to fight right after the puck drop?
Yeah, no.
They like to fight.
Kachucks,
have they ever fought with each other in a game?
I don't think so. I don't think. Okay. I think they play nice with each other. But I don't know if you saw, Brett, and I saw this making its rounds. Matthew Tkachuk, who plays for the Florida team, his team obviously out. He was up to support his brother. He was wearing an Ole Miss sweatshirt. How about that?
There it is.
How about it? I had to do some digging to figure out how in the world Matthew Tkachuk is linked.
I saw it at the no context college football site.
That's good. That would be a really good no context college football. But supposedly one of his friends, I guess, lives in Oxford or something, and he went to a football game down at Ole Miss and was just all in on it. So good for Matthew Tkachuk.
Wear the gear.
Yeah, rock it. So definitely some good stuff in both. But I'll be really interested, like you said. I don't want to say we feel really good about the Thunder after what we saw last night. I feel pretty good about the Thunder
I do.
getting the win tonight. I think it could be closer than that 17.5-point spread. But this Magic Pistons game, that's going to be one that will be really, really interesting. Detroit, an 8.5-point favorite. We'll see if they can cover it after losing outright.
Detroit's got to bring it out of the opening tip.
They do, and Jalen Duren's got to be a lot better. He really struggled in that first game. But we'll see that game starting at 6 o'clock on ESPN. The second game, 8:30. Both those games on ESPN tonight. But we need to wrap up this first hour, get to another break, and when we return, we're talking golf. We're making our picks for this weekend's tournament. John Goen from Timber Trust, he joins us next.
Hey y'all, Jimmy Stovall here with Corky's Barbecue. Catering is our specialty. Memphians have trusted Corky's to cater their events for 40 years because we make it easy for you and delicious for your guests. Whether it's 50 people or a crowd of thousands, our experienced team comes to your location, sets up, serves, and ensures everyone enjoys a Corky's all-you-can-eat barbecue buffet starting at only $7.99 per person. You can't beat it. With 40 years of experience, it's easy to see why customers choose Corky's time and time again for all of their catering needs. Visit Corky'sBBQ.com to book us for your next party.
Encore flavor, Corky's barbecue.
Tito's Handmade Vodka is America's favorite vodka for a reason. From the first legal distillery in Texas, Tito's is 6 times distilled till it's just right and naturally gluten-free, making it a high-quality spirit that mixes with just about anything. From the smoothest martinis to the best Bloody Marys, Tito's is known for giving back, teaming up with nonprofits to serve its communities and do good for dogs. Make your next cocktail with Tito's. Distilled and bottled by 5th Generation Incorporated, Austin, Texas. 40% alcohol by volume. Savor responsibly.
The best I-dos start with Sissy's Blue. Discover bridal jewelry worthy of your big day at Sissy's Log Cabin, along with our spectacular experience that comes with our promise of exceptional quality, service, and brilliant natural diamonds. Experience our expansive selection when you stop by any of our 7 locations or shop online at sissyslogcabin.com. Find your perfect engagement ring only at Sissy's Log Cabin, because life's too short for ordinary jewelry.
Cleanliness is next to impossible unless you call High-Low Commercial Services. For 15 years, High-Low's dedicated team has been cleaning offices throughout the Mid-South. High-Low's janitorial services are customized to your business. Clean once, quarterly, or ongoing, and get the JRD guarantee. We clean until you're satisfied. High-Low Commercial Services, the biggest and the best in the Mid-South. Visit MrCleanTeam.com. That's MrCleanTeam, MrCleanTeam.com for High-Low Commercial Services.
Spring Black Friday is on at the Home Depot. Save on grills and patio sets that will be sure to bring your hosting game up a notch. Fire up your feast with help from the Home Depot and save on grills. Like the Next Grill 4-burner propane gas grill was $249, now in special buy for $199. Or give everyone the best seat in the yard with the Hampton Bay Mayfield Park 4-piece conversation set for only $399. Save on grills and patio sets with low prices guaranteed during Spring Black Friday only at the Home Depot. Now through April 22nd while supplies last. Exclusions apply. See HomeDepot.com/price match for details.
Breaking news for your home. Way Day. Wayfair's big sale is almost here, and you can score the best deals in home. Like up to 80% off everything home. Yes, you heard that right. 80% off with free shipping on everything. Plus surprise flash deals all Way Day long. We're talking outdoor furniture and essentials, rugs, and more. All at Wayfair, and all up to 80% off during Way Day. Shop Wayfair's Way Day from April 25th through 27th.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. We had some police activity over here a few minutes ago. It had traffic slow on 40 westbound near Witten as it loads up in this area now, and the eastbound lanes with more traffic as you continue on 40 east out towards Fayette County. Trying to get south of Memphis. It's been pretty good shape so far. Now it's building down through Midtown on 240 south at South Parkway. Don't let a slipping transmission make things worse on your car or truck. If you're having transmission problems, come to Amco Transmissions with 2 area Memphis locations. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10. Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour brought to you by Landers, Ford, and Collierville. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
When you hear the sound coming, hear the drums drumming, I want you to jump.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you as we start our second hour here on this Wednesday afternoon. We got to talk some golf, and joining us like he does every week, John Goen from Timber Trust. He joins us now. Hey, John, how's it going down at Timber Trust?
Hey, fellas. Doing well. How are y'all doing? Everything good?
Well,
doing great, John.
Been better, but
what's that?
okay.
Brian's still grousing over last week. You know, famously in the Watergate tapes, there was the 17-minute gap. And Bryant's thinking there was some skullduggery last week with the gap that you left us.
Yeah, what I did is I texted my friend to make sure my picks were correct. You know, So, that's what kind of happened. The phone went dead. It gave me an opportunity to phone a friend and get some input on my picks and then just kind of go from there.
You came out of the bottom of the pile with Matt Fitzpatrick.
Mm-hmm.
Great pick, John. I texted you on Sunday night. Sincerely, great pick, didn't I?
You did. I honestly, you were texting me, and I was okay. We all know by now it's hockey playoff time.
Yeah, it is.
So I was watching the Canadiens game.
Oh, the Canadiens are playing well.
And Brett sends me this text. He's like, "What was that swing by Scotty Scheffler?" And I'm like, I don't know. I got to grab my phone. I got to pull up Paramount on my phone, and so I can watch the hockey game and watch the end of the golf tournament. But interesting to say the least, and just happy that my boy Fitzpatrick didn't choke it away like he tried to on 18 with his terrible chip there for the first bad chip of the week for him. Happens on the 72nd hole, and he gave away a 3-shot lead with 4 to go. That was pretty impressive.
John, you open up so many questions from the teaching standpoint. First of all, I want you to address who should be trying cross-handed chips. Then I want you to address what I was afraid Scotty was trying to do, and they can. Most of the rest of the world of us, we cannot. He was trying to hit a half, three-quarter shot. Do you ever want double-digit handicappers trying half shots? Just go get another club and hit a full shot, don't you?
Well, okay, so 2 things. One, so when I was an assistant golf professional up in Seattle, so that was like 97 to 2001. I was at a private club up there, and one of the members back then was chipping cross-handed.
And you thought he was nuts.
I mean, he chipped so poorly, and he chipped better cross-handed. It still wasn't Matt Fitzpatrick, but I mean, he did chip better cross-handed. So very much like putting cross-handed, claw grip putting. Is it worth trying? If your chipping game is that bad, isn't anything worth trying at the end of the day? So yeah, go out, give it a shot. Give it, see how you can chip. It's going to kind of cut down on how much you hinge your wrists and things along those lines. So it's definitely a different tactic to go about your short game. But again, we all try multiple things when it comes to our putting game. So why not try it in your short game as well?
Would you ever teach it though?
To this point, I'm 30-something years into the golf business. I have not taught it yet. I've talked to people about crosshand putting, but I've not talked about crosshand chipping. As far as the other one, I was actually, ironically enough, just talking to somebody about this yesterday. The unfortunate part with what the club manufacturers have done, as they have continued to strengthen lofts in irons, they are forcing us to constantly have in-between shots. Because your pitching wedge nowadays is your old 9-iron, even probably in between a 9-iron and an 8-iron from a loft standpoint. So when I first learned playing golf growing up, it was 10 yards in between shots. A lot of the club manufacturers nowadays, it's 15 yards in between shots. So you're constantly facing some type of in-between, whether, to your point, Brett, I'm going to take one more club and try to rip it, but, into the wind, it's still going to more than likely get up in the air. The wind's going to affect it and things along those lines.
Yeah, and
so, Scotty's playing the shot, that he feels comfortable enough doing, probably held it off just a little bit since he tends to be more of a fader of the golf ball, which, is going to build loft into the iron. It's going to throw it more up into the air. The wind's going to affect it, and he's going to miss it short and right like he did. So, again, unfortunately, it used to be very, very simple. My pitching wedge was 48 degrees. Then I could go 52 degrees with a wedge, 56 degrees with a wedge, and 60 degrees with a wedge. My 9-iron was 44, and my 8-iron was 40. Now, your pitching wedge is 44-ish, 43 in some cases. Your gap wedge is 50 or even 48 in some circumstances. And, now you're like, well, I'm always going to have a gap in my bag. And as a player nowadays, all of us, it's, do I want the gap in the top end of my bag or do I want the gap in the bottom end of my bag? And so you've got to figure that out. Do I want to carry one more wedge, because I need that from a short game perspective? Or, do I want that extra hybrid 5 wood, 7 wood, 9 wood, whatever in the top part of my bag, because that's what I ultimately need, from that perspective, and that's going to help my game a little bit more. So, we all have that decision to make. It's up to you from a personal perspective as far as where you want it, how you want it.
Speaking of the winner last weekend, Matt Fitzpatrick, one major win under his belt. It feels like he's kind of in that conversation when we get to these majors. People feel good about him that he could win another one. He just hasn't been able to get another one. Do you think we see him soon win another major?
Well, so he came at the U.S. Open. And so, you've got to think Augusta, he probably still hasn't played Augusta quite enough to kind of figure out Augusta National at this point. Is he a favorite going into Aronimink? Most definitely. Then obviously he's won a U.S. Open. Granted, his U.S. Open, I think it was a little softer, right? To my faint recollection. They'd gotten some rain, a little softer golf course. U.S. Open tends to get a little baked out, but still, Matt Fitzpatrick's one of those guys that's been doing, the stack system or some type of, speed building, to where he could pick up some distance because he knew if not, he was going to kind of really, really fall behind the curve. So, he's put a lot of work in, gaining distance with his driver and, clearly it's paying off. So, you would probably think that, at the end of the day, he's, either a PGA championship or an Open championship is where you would kind of see him being a bit more contention. But at the same time, obviously he's won a U.S. Open. He can win another one.
John, do you on Twitter, do you follow Nuclear Golf at NUCLRGOLF, Nuclear Golf?
I think I do. It's been a little bit, but I believe I do. If not, I've seen some of their stuff. Yes,
great site, and whoever runs it had this question, and don't say scores because we all know when you total it all up, that's when you can tell who can play. But the question was, how can you be playing with somebody for maybe the first couple times and know early that they can really play? And the two things that stood out to me, one was where you stand and not just behavior and comportment, but one thing that stood out is where you stand while the other people are putting. And this one, and this was one that got me, and I want you to kind of answer this on the fly. This is what got me. You're playing against a stick early in the round when he can kind of tap on his ball and maybe lower the ball on the tee while it's on the tee when you're on the tee box. You better look out when a guy can do that because that means he can really play.
Yeah, tap it with his driver to knock the tee down a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, any of those things. Like, when he gets done putting or done with the hole, he'll take his wedge if he was chipping. If he doesn't have a putter that he can pick it up, kind of scoop it up with, he'll take a wedge and he'll kind of scoop it that way, and then he can juggle it a little bit to pick, to juggle the ball to knock it up into his hand and be able to get the ball that way so he doesn't have to bend over to pick it up. That's always a pretty good one, from that perspective. Just, the hand-eye coordination and stuff like that to kind of be able to do that is obviously pretty impressive.
Yeah, grip and stance is a giveaway.
Yeah. No, and just swing in general. You can just see if he gets up there and, just kind of sets it in the correct positions and follows through and stuff like that.
There were a lot of responses.
The other side of it is
sound.
like, is he taking, is he playing course management? So like, is he like, am I taking driver and he's taking a 4-iron, right? Is there those types of things where, he's really kind of thinking more about his round where, we're just getting up there and, how many times can I hit driver through the course of a given round, right? So, there's those things that you can tell people are probably better players because they're thinking their way through the process a little bit more.
Speaking of course management and how people act on the course, Max Homa had a lot to say about golfers throwing their clubs and damaging their clubs, and then on Sunday the frustrations got the best of him, and he threw his club in frustration. What did you make of that scene last week?
Well, I mean, look, we all have probably gotten to that point. So, obviously I'm sure he's been called very hypocritical, and everything else, but, those things happen. And, we all have certain expectations of ourselves, and if things aren't going our way, that's one of the ways to be able to kind of get it out of your system a little bit. So, obviously unfortunate for Max, but, Max likes to throw stuff out there too. So I'm sure he's been a pretty good sport about, a lot of the stuff he's been getting for it. But, I mean, those things happen. I mean, John Daly whirly-birding a iron into the lake during the PGA Championship up the Whistling Straits. I mean, at least he didn't throw it into the water, for crying out loud. But,
I saw Tommy Two Glove Gainey almost decapitate his caddy on number 8 at Southwind one day. 3-putted, missed a real short one, and I mean, here comes the helicopter right at the caddy. If he doesn't duck, there's a man killed.
I've got a baffling one for you guys right now, and that is so, we put cup liners in instead of like hole in white, at the top of the cup when you cut cups. And we've started doing it recently, and all the cup liners are well below the height. But like ever since we've started doing that this spring, people will take the liners out and just throw them off to the side of the green. Now, I don't understand it, but it's got to be that they're frustrated about something. But I mean, the liner's well below the height and everything, so it's not as if the liner was what kept your ball out of the cup. But I mean, we're replacing 4 to 7 liners a day that people just rip out of the cup and throw them off to the side. So they're getting frustrated to the point of the Max Homa story. They're getting frustrated about something. I just can't put my finger on what the frustration is and why is it all revolve around a liner and a cup, for crying out loud.
Yeah, it's not. John, the untidy story on the tour this week, fully doged. Hawaii's done. It feels like this is the last time ever at TPC Louisiana, the last time for the Zurich. A lot of tournaments are scared to death. This could be the last time.
Well, I mean, I think it's going to be the world in which we live in here, as the new CEO kind of asserts what his direction is for the tour, and that's, cutting down on the number of events and things along those lines. So, I think a lot of the long-standing, I mean, you got to think Deere is probably done in the Moline, Quad Cities area. You got to think 3M up in the Twin Cities is probably done. A lot of these events that are kind of, yawners and afterthoughts at the end of the day are probably gone. The interesting one will be, I mean, I'm assuming that we're going to probably keep the alternate events away from the majors, kind of going, to where we'll have, something opposite of certain events, kind of that second lower tier event. So I'm guessing that will more than likely stay in the shuffle. I'll be curious to see how much the Corn Ferry schedule grows, and maybe replaces some of these events. Will there be a Corn Ferry event in the New Orleans area? Will there be one in the Quad Cities area? And that's how the schedule grows, because if not, I mean, it's not just losing tour events. A lot of these middle, lower tier tour guys that, float between the regular tour and the Corn Ferry tour, are, gonna be out of a job as well, because their chances of keeping their card or being able to play for a living are going to go by the wayside, because, we all know that there's not a substantial amount of money on the Corn Ferry tour. And, yes, you can make a living at it, but it's a struggle, and it's a lot, and it's difficult. And, so as we make these adjustments, it'll be interesting to see how the Corn Ferry schedule goes. And then of course there's the Champions Tour schedule, and, what's going to happen with it, if it stays, or whether we, pare a few of those back as well, or what. So going to be a real interesting time. I mean, be interesting to see what happens here in Memphis, from that perspective. And I think a lot of the events are probably, a lot of the events in smaller cities are probably extremely nervous right now. And
they want to go big
you're going
city.
to get rid of a lot of history, as you make those adjustments and those changes. But it's in the current CEO's mind, that's for the betterment of the tour and everything else. So I mean, that's the direction they're going to go.
John, and you know the budget process, having been both the pro and the general manager at TPC Southwind. You know that TPC network very well, and dealing with your budget when that tournament is elevated is different than when it was just an event around Memorial Day or in June or whenever. And it would be far different at places like at Moline, like in New Orleans at TPC Louisiana. Can that club imagine what golf course budget will be like with no tour stop?
Well, I mean, the tour years ago made the decision to get rid of certain TPCs that weren't hosting events. Tampa, Prestancia down in Sarasota, Eagle Trace down in the Coral Springs area, Wakefield Plantation in Raleigh. A lot of those clubs were sold in order to, create the capital dollars needed to revive a lot of facilities like Southwind back in 2004 when not only did they redo the greens, but they redid the clubhouse at that point in time. So those are going to be the decisions too that could potentially be made as you go down the path of, tour schedule and who's hosting events and who isn't. Is the tour going to kind of get to the point where the TPC network for in-network or tour-owned properties could potentially shrink in order to help the bigger properties that are hosting events have the capital dollars needed to be able to continue to separate themselves from their competitors and things along those lines. But yeah, to your point, Brett, I mean, Southwind in particular goes from millions of dollars, with the renovation of the greens and the fairways and drainage and bunkers and all that stuff to, you're fighting for $250,000 probably from a capital expenditure perspective to try to figure out, now it's, well, we're going to put, new chairs and tables at the swimming pool, or we're, going to do X, Y, Z. So, you're going from millions of dollars to fighting for $250,000 in capital dollars to redo some furniture or to do this or do that. You're not going to really have the ability to do major renovations or major work to the club because you're not important enough anymore and you're not going to host an event. So you kind of fall down the ladder a little bit.
Yeah. The swimming pool, every club's worst nightmare, isn't it?
The biggest loser. I mean, when I was there, it's a great amenity for the members, but it is a complete and utter loser, from that standpoint. And I was told at one point in time that be happy I wasn't losing 7 times the money that another club was losing in swim and tennis from that perspective. So I guess I felt pretty good about that. Do what now?
The insurance that it costs to have.
Oh,
that diving board is for keeps with insurance.
Well, and how many times have the poor Southwind members been told that they were going to redo the swim and tennis area to actually put in a halfway decent pool and, covered tennis and stuff like that to have that rug jerked out from underneath them multiple times. So, there's that side. There's that side of everything as well. So, I mean, obviously there's private clubs that do a great job with that. And I think that that's a lot of it. I know there's other clubs, Ridgeway and obviously Chickasaw and some others, Memphis Country Club, that do a really good job, with their pool areas and things along those lines. So maybe they've got an upper hand on that from that standpoint. But I know, the time I was at Southwind fighting for, anything in regards to swim and tennis or even redoing that area, there were a lot of things promised and a lot of things not delivered. So very interesting there.
I believe it. Well, let's get to picks. Obviously, the team event at the Zurich. I guess I'm first, so I'll go with Brooks and.
Oh yeah, congratulations on that, Bryant. Really good for you. I'm happy for you. I mean,
you earned it, man. Good job.
Yeah, thanks.
I mean, you did. Stellar picking. Really good
I
stuff.
certainly earned it. That's for sure.
Y'all are rough. The whole etiquette thing about where to stand. There's also an etiquette thing on the golf picks that y'all don't seem to follow. Give me.
Hold on. This goes right down the same path and the congratulatory stuff for good picks and everything else. So it's just, it's back. There's some back and forth here now.
Yeah.
Thank
right.
you. Thank you so much.
I go next. Give me Griffin and Novak. Landon.
Gummit, that's who I was going to go with. I guess give me the Fitzpatrick brothers.
Team Fitz. I
talked over Bryant. So who did Bryant pick?
Kafka and Lowry.
And Shane, yeah.
Oh, nice, great
Shane
pick.
and Brooks,
really
that could
good
be like
pick.
a country music band. It might be.
It might be.
How about that?
Got a lot of majors in
really
it.
John would know.
Of course, John will go.
Is this when we lose John and he comes back?
It sounds
like you're stalling over there.
I hung the phone up, so you better hurry up and call me back here. I'm going to take Aaron Rye and Sahith Theegala.
Gummit.
Rye Segala.
Huh. Okay. Well, that was gonna be my second pick. I'm gonna go with Haotong Lee and Jordan Smith.
Really good pick.
Thank you.
Lee and Smith. That gives me Van Ruin and Bezadenhout.
All right.
Whoa.
Really testing our
wow.
names today.
Yeah. I mean, just how does that fit on the back of a caddy bib?
That's a great question.
Eric Van Ruin and Christian Bezadenhout.
Landon?
I will go with Michael Thorbjornsen and Carl Phillips.
All right. Speaking of swings, Thorbjornsen is one of those baseball bat type swings, John.
That's why I can relate to him.
No interlocking.
No. Baseball grip, 10-finger, baby.
Just like Bob Rosberg won a PGA championship doing it.
Must struggle squaring up the club face, so that helps.
Yes, it does. John, your shot.
I'm going to take Wyndham Clark and Taylor Moore.
Right.
That really is a good last pick.
That's a good last pick.
Good pick.
Hey, by the way, Brett, that was a great comeback after going bagel the first week to make what you made last week. That was that was pretty impressive.
Yeah.
It's comments like that.
It sounds genuine.
Yeah.
It does. And I appreciate it, John.
It's completely genuine. You throw up a
Scotty does
0 the
wonders.
first week.
Oh.
You come
take
back
Scotty.
with millions. You put Bryant in the stellar. You jump up to third, and away you go. It was really good.
And then Scotty's not playing this week, so I can't take Scotty.
Scotty was
John,
a great pick.
do you really think that's a master plan I have working?
Absolutely.
Okay, good.
Feels like something going.
Scotty was a really great pick last week, Brett.
Yeah,
See, we know
It
you
was.
have a master plan at Timber Trust. Tell our listeners how they can enjoy it.
Well, of course, tomorrow's Thursday, so we've got our two-person scramble tomorrow night, 5:30 p.m. You can call and sign up for that, 662-895-3530. Just make sure you ask to speak to someone in the golf shop, and our wonderful AI attendant will transfer you to the shop there. This weekend, looks like the rain moves through kind of Friday into Saturday, so it looks like Saturday is still maybe salvageable from a golf perspective. Saturday and Sunday looking halfway decent. So you can either book your tee times online at timbertrustgolf.com or, again, call us, 662-895-3530 to be able to book those tee times. Golf course is as good as we can be right now, given the inconsistencies in the weather. We're starting to see some growth. We threw some fertilizer a week ago. We're not seeing a lot of the result from that just because we haven't seen the heat a lot yet. The rain this weekend will be extremely welcomed. So we're hoping that not for a gully washer, but to at least get some natural water to be able to get down, and maybe even potentially a little bit of lightning to give us some natural nitrogen and stuff as well. So, but the greens are in good shape. We continue kind of our normal cultural practices there with our top dressings and things along those lines. So real happy with where the greens are at. Just waiting for this fertilizer to kick in to help us start recovery from, some winter damage and things along those lines. But that's just kind of normal this time of year. So come on down to North Mississippi and Olive Branch and come see us. We'll be looking forward to it.
John, enjoy the rest of the week. Enjoy the weekend. We'll talk to you again next Wednesday.
All right, fellas. Enjoy. Take care. Go Oilers.
Thanks, John.
You got it. Go.
John going. Oilers.
Go Flyers.
Man, I love it. Yeah,
John
go
is a
Flyers.
hockey fan.
Yeah, I don't have a team in it right now, so I can't say go anybody. Go
Penguins.
Canadians. I like the
You know the golf course business when you know that lightning helps with nitrogen.
No kidding. I mean, that was like a science lesson in the
Really
middle
is.
of the segment. So glad
fun.
he's got that covered.
Love having John.
Yeah,
even with the daggers.
No, yeah, no, he's great until it gets to golf picks. Then maybe a different story.
Then he's great there.
Yeah,
He just
well,
trounces us.
Right.
Boy, he's got some easy suckers, doesn't he?
Oh yeah, no, he knows what he's doing for sure. But let's go ahead, get to another break. We're counting down the hours until the start of the NFL draft. So when we return, we'll talk some draft as we get closer and closer to prime time in Pittsburgh. We do that next on Sports Time.
You have opinions?
I think it's over.
Of course you do.
I don't think it's that simple.
Everyone does.
I got all the answers.
Hit us up on the Sissy's Log Cabin listener line at 360-8255.
Unlock your new go-to spot, Codes Dispensary in Steele, Missouri, just over an hour from Memphis. When you're ready for a legal, reliable option, they're right up the road. Explore the full menu of top-shelf products in-store and online. Short on time? Order ahead and cruise through the drive-thru for a quick pickup. Stack rewards while you stock up with Club Codes. Earn points for every dollar spent. Codes Dispensary, now open in Steele, Missouri. Supreme cannabis that's worth the drive. Learn more at codesdispensary.com. That's codesdispensary.com.
You know what makes a city great? It's the extra special little things like great museums, a zoo, or parks, and golf courses. And the city of Memphis recognized that years ago, and they have made great city golf courses. All the renovations, like Galloway several years ago, the new one at Audubon, what they did to Pine Hill 90 years after it first opened is extra special. The amenities make a city, and golf courses are part of those amenities. They're terrific, and every golf course has its own championship. So if you want to play in the Galloway Championship, the Audubon Championship, even that OPO, the oldest golf tournament around, the Overton Park Open for the youth, that's going into year 80. That's how special Memphis golf is. You want to make a tee time? They made it easy modern way. Just go to memphispubliclinks.com.
Landers Ford in Collierville, #1 in the Mid-South. New 2025 Ford F-150, not 10% off, not 15% off, up to 20% off MSRP. Due to its success, Landers Truck Month has been extended. Truck Month level savings on everything. Use your tax refund as a down payment to save even more. Trade values are strong for now. Get top dollar before values drop. Shop one of the largest selections of new Fords in the Mid-South. The price you see is the price you pay. No hidden addendums. That's the Landers Ford difference. Get started now with our Landers Easy Pass at LandersFordMemphis.com. Don't wait. The best new Fords with the biggest savings will sell fast. Give us a call to schedule your test drive today. Landers Ford in Collierville. Remember, if it doesn't say Landers, you paid too much. Sales report, Memphis Market. Example 2025 Ford F-150 XLT. Stock number 2520751. MSRP $62,450. Ford retail bonus cash $42.50. Ford retail customer cash $2,000. Landers discount $6,500. Sale price $49,700. Price plus tax, title, license is $695. Processing fee. See dealer for complete details. Offerings 5/4/26.
Step up your wings game at East Coast Wings and Grill. With over 60 wing flavors and 7 heat indexes, do you have what it takes to turn the heat on your wings up to insanity? East Coast Wings and Grill is family friendly with a large variety menu to satisfy the whole bunch. Sign up today for their loyalty program and taste the rewards. For every $1 you spend, you collect a point. Earn 100 points and receive a $5 reward. Next to Lowe's off Highway 64 in Bartlett, come try America's best wings at East Coast Wings and Grill.
I got him on the line out there in Gossett Volkswagen Germantown. Hey, Marty McNate, what's going on?
I've got some big news. Volkswagen Driver Days is going on at Gossett Volkswagen Germantown.
And I hear you've got some incredible deals happening right now.
You heard right, Randy. I got 2026 Jetta S, $277 a month.
$277 a month for Jetta. Hey, what else you got?
How about 2026 Taos S, $327 a month.
$327 a month for Taos S, and I hear you got a Tiguan deal out of this world.
2026 Tiguan S, $355 a month.
Well, it sounds like you got something for everyone.
Come see me, Marty McNate, at Gossett Volkswagen Germantown, 7420 Winchester Road, or shop online at GossettVWG.com. And remember, your future is what you make it.
36 month lease, Jetta S at 104,280, MSRP 26,426, Taos SMO 6162, MSRP 27,011, Jetta GMW 5137, MSRP 25,820, Taos S PM 108, PM191, MSRP 29,101, Tiguan TMO 14510, MSRP 32,585, includes all rebates and incentives, PF 895, excludes 5 license with approved credit, see dealer for complete details, offerings 43026, dealers.com.
This traffic brought to you by Old Dominick Distillery. Come for the spirits, stay for the experience. Cheers to Memphis. Learn more at olddominick.com.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. Moving a little bit better from an earlier crash we had on 40 eastbound near Hollywood. That was already starting to build on that side of town anyway. As you continue over towards White, stationing in this wreck being cleared. 40 east at Hollywood, trying to get south of Memphis is on the increase quite a bit actually on 55 down through DeSoto County. Hey, don't let a slipping transmission make things worse on your car or truck. If you're having transmission problems, come to Amco Transmissions with 2 locations right here in Memphis. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour brought to you by Landers Ford in Collierville. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Well, we're counting down the hours until the NFL draft starts in Pittsburgh tomorrow night, first round, and a lot of questions about what will happen in the first round of the NFL draft tomorrow night. The one thing that feels like, and kind of the only thing that everyone seems certain on, is Fernando Mendoza will be the number 1 overall pick to the Las Vegas Raiders. Now, a little different. He will be watching the draft from his home in Miami. He will not be attending the draft. He threw out the first pitch, was it last night or the night before, at the Miami Marlins game against the St. Louis Cardinals. So he's down there in Miami. He'll take in the draft there. And after that, it feels like I don't really know what's going to happen after that, because it feels like if you look at the different mock drafts, if you hear what different people are saying, anything could really happen after number 1.
It could. And one thing we know is going to happen is our friend Brett Ciancia from Pick 6 Previews, just one of the great sites out there for college football, but it also brings in NFL stuff. He had a tweet earlier today at Pick 6 Previews. Longest active droughts without an NFL first-round pick from the Power 4. It's been 40 years for SMU.
Wow.
Don't know if that gets snapped tomorrow night, but it's going to in the next few years.
Definitely.
This one, as soon as the commissioner calls Fernando Mendoza, the 32-year drought for Indiana is broken.
Cow. Wow. 32 years. Holy
17 years for Kansas and Vanderbilt.
Wow.
And there's a theme here. Almost all these places, I think you would dub them as basketball first. Maybe not basketball school, but basketball first. SMU, well, they never had the death penalty in basketball.
I guess that's true.
Indiana, definitely. Kansas and Vanderbilt, I think, definitely. At 16, Virginia, I think, basketball first. 15, Georgia Tech and Rutgers. I would not label Georgia Tech a basketball first.
Definitely not.
Nebraska, 14. I would not do that either.
Absolutely not.
But isn't that something? Syracuse at 12, definitely. And Oklahoma State at 11. I think I would basketball first. I think. It's close.
Yeah, it's kind of a toss-up there with Oklahoma State. But, yeah, it is interesting.
T. Boone Pickens just rolled over.
Yeah, well, that is true. But, yeah, I mean, that is you're right about that. There's a lot of schools in there that, you know, it's basketball or another sport first over than football. And Indiana, I feel like, you know, that's going to snap tomorrow night with the number 1 pick. I've got a good feeling that Indiana is going to have a couple more first-round picks as long as Cignetti keeps doing his thing up there. I don't think Mendoza will be the only first-round pick.
Okay, as I said a few weeks ago, regression mostly because of Sir Isaac Newton. Just gravity. Not back to being bad.
No.
And Brian, Tom Allen deserves a little credit for kind of like Mark Stoops. Mark Stoops had a longer run. It can be done in Indiana. He just couldn't sustain it.
Yeah, no, you gotta give him a lot of credit. I mean, he did a nice job up there. You know, it's just a shame that you've got Cignetti coming in and just kind of blowing everything out of the water with what he's done these last couple of years.
Lane Kiffin's first year at Ole Miss beat Indiana in the Outback Bowl.
Yeah.
Well, they were even at that desperate times, you know, 1 year in, you know, coming out of probation and everything, Ole Miss was light years ahead of Indiana in football.
Yeah, no.
Not now.
No. It is. It's definitely changed, and he's putting together a really, really nice program. And obviously, it's hard to recreate what they did last year, being perfect. But I think they will have another good team, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see another first-round pick next year.
More great tidbits from Brett CNC at Pick 6 Previews. Most consecutive NFL drafts with a first-round pick. Active streaks. No shocker. Bama at 17. Now, all of these are the quintessential football first schools.
Definitely.
Bama 17. Ohio State 10. I would have thought that'd be longer. Georgia 8. Michigan 7. Oregon 6. Texas only 3. And then this Arizona, not a football school, 2. LSU 2. Mizzou 2. Penn State and North Carolina with 2.
Interesting. That's some good stuff there. And kind of fun to keep an eye on and almost play along at home throughout the draft and see what changes this year with all of those numbers. But I'm really curious about the 3rd and 4th pick tomorrow. We've talked a lot about the Titans. Obviously, we talked about it earlier. We talked about it yesterday. I think we all feel very comfortable with them taking a running back, but will that running back still be there? There's a lot more smoke coming out over the last couple of days about maybe Arizona pulling the trigger on Love at number 3. I've even seen some other mock drafts that don't even have this ESPN mock draft. I don't know who did this ESPN mock draft, but doesn't have Jeremiah Love going until the number 7 pick. I don't think there's a world where Jeremiah Love is still on the board at number 7. I'm starting to get worried that Arizona might pull the trigger at number 3 and take a running back.
Okay, I'm seeing an ESPN list. Who's the author of your list?
Jordan Reed.
Okay, I'm seeing Matt Miller and Jeremy Fowler. It went online at 325. They have Mendoza 1, David Bailey 2 from Texas Tech. Bailey was at Cal. No, he was at Stanford. He was at Stanford before he got to Texas Tech. Number 3, Arvell Reese to Arizona. 4, Jeremiah Love to the Titans.
I hope it's Jeremiah Love at number 4. I personally don't want it to be Jeremiah Love at number 4 because it looks like the Cowboys are looking to trade up, but it looks like they're trading up for a linebacker. I would like them to trade up for Jeremiah Love. But I do have money on Jeremiah Love being the number 4 pick. So for that reason, I hope Jeremiah
Let's
Love
hope it hits.
is the 4th pick. But we'll see. I mean, like we talked about earlier, Titans need a lot of everything. It feels like they got the quarterback, but they need pretty much everything else.
This mock continues with the really gaining a lot of momentum, Jordan Tyson to the Giants. You have Neighbors and Tyson and Scatterboo in the backfield and Dart. You got a chance. Number 6, the big lineman from Miami, Francis Mauigoa, but he's had some injuries, some health issues come up right here at draft time.
Yeah, he has, and that's definitely what you don't want to see when you get this close to the draft is injury news kind of start popping up.
Don't do it. That's the most Browns thing ever.
No, it definitely is. So, yeah, I mean, it just feels like I have 3 or 4 mock drafts pulled up right now for a completely different reason. And they're all different. I mean, it does not seem that there's a consensus, especially in the top 3. I mean, it feels like, once you get to kind of 5 through 10, and certainly when you get on, you lose that consistency because everybody's different and you don't really know what these teams are going to do. But it feels like most years we feel pretty confident about what 1, 2, 3 is going to be, and I don't feel confident at all after number 1.
This morning on Hot Take TV, they were kind of doing what we did yesterday at 4:30 about what draft room would you like to be in. Yeah, they were doing it, and Peter Schrager, he said, no question about it. Give me Cowboys, and give me Cowboys when they hand the draft card of Mansour Delane from LSU to the commissioner, and I'm with that. He was the best I saw in person last year.
Yeah, I would love that
I
pick.
think Caleb Downs is a better player. Different players, one a corner, one a safety.
Yeah, I'd love that pick if that ultimately is the selection. I think the Cowboys can go a lot of different directions with this. Obviously, I mentioned there's been a lot of talk about them moving up, somewhere in that 5 to 8 range and taking one of those linebackers. Obviously, you talk about Delane. That could be an option. The idea of moving up and taking a different type of safety corner defensive back. It feels like there's a lot of options for the Cowboys tomorrow night, and I don't know where they'll go. Speaking of the Cowboys, did you see the clip earlier today with Jerry Jones doing his press conference?
I heard it on Colin Cowherd on this air.
Did you really? They played that on Cowherd. Interesting. What a weird moment for Bill Clinton just dropping by and walking in during the press conference.
Oh, they're that tight from way back.
It was so awkward. I saw a clip of it on social media. It was a very awkward interaction and whole kind of thing all around.
But they're besties from way back.
Oh, I believe it. I'm not questioning that. I'm just saying it was very weird.
But both of them have a personality. You can't help but like them.
Yo, yeah, no, they.
I mean, if you could
unless you're a fan of the Cowboys,
right? If you put Cowboys and that behind it, and you take red and blue jersey or red jersey off, Jerry Jones and Bill Clinton have been the most popular guy in the class their whole life.
Oh yeah, but it was weird. And again, like, just add another reason of why I don't want to be anywhere near the Cowboys draft room, just because, like,
if you're scared, say you're scared.
Brett, I'm not gonna even not say that.
If you got a cowboy hat on and an SMU sweatshirt on, we talked about both of them.
I'm Big Dallas. I don't even know why. I didn't even notice the connection there.
Big D Dacus.
Yeah, that's what they call me, Brett. Yeah, I mean, it was just a very weird, because you haven't seen the video though. So Jerry Jones is sitting down, I guess. You could only see him like coming over to interact with Bill Clinton. So I'm guessing he's sitting down in the middle of a press conference. A reporter's asking a question. He cuts the reporter off, gets up to go and like kind of hug on Clinton, and he like trips and almost falls, and they have to like catch him and then like walk him down the stairs. It was bizarre. It was one of the craziest videos I've seen in a while.
And people talk about they were big duck hunting buddies.
Yeah.
From way. Can you imagine being in a duck blind with those two?
But yes, going back to it, Brett, I'm terrified with Jerry Jones.
I'm terrified of being in a duck blind with anybody.
Yes, that is also true.
Freeze to death.
But yeah, I don't know what the Cowboys are going to do tomorrow night.
All right, the Ole Miss guys got to get in an Ole Miss reference. You ready?
Okay.
And I want y'all to monitor this tomorrow night.
Okay.
When they're running the proverbial B-roll for Mesidor and Bain at Miami, watch how little from the Fiesta Bowl those highlights are.
Yeah.
They didn't do that much. No. And Gary and Jake and I spent the whole pregame, got to block Mesidor and Bain. And do that, Ole Miss will win. Did that.
Yeah.
Really? That was Carson Beck in the offense.
No, it really was, and you got to give them credit. They were
sure
really good that night.
And I did, and I have.
No, yeah, I know you have,
and I will.
I know you have. So it's gonna be a really interesting first round tomorrow night, and then obviously as it goes on, here locally, Travis Burke. We'll see the former Memphis offensive lineman. We'll see where he gets selected. I'm seeing a lot of kind of fourth, fifth, sixth kind of round projections for him. So we'll see where he lands in the draft over the weekend, but should be a really fun weekend.
Brian, I promise you, late that night after the Fiesta Bowl loss, takes forever to get through postgame, takes forever to get to the parking lot, forever to get back to the hotel. And I'm walking from who was on a bus or however I rode back. From there to where my room was, probably was about 75 yards.
Okay.
The entire way I was muttering, you can't lose to Carson Beck. You can't lose to Carson Beck. You can't let Carson Beck beat you.
Oh man, yeah, no, that's.
But he did.
He did, and he was really good. So yeah, it's hard to have to lose to him. But that was a fun game and a fun run for Ole Miss. But it will be fun tomorrow.
But watch that tomorrow night on B-roll.
Yeah, no, I definitely will be watching that tomorrow night as it gets started up in Pittsburgh. But we need to get to another break, and when we return, it'll be time for Big Number of the Day.
Add a little fun to your lunch break. Join Johnny Radio for Sports 56 Happy Hour from 11 to 1 every weekday on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Come on and let the good times roll, y'all. Or as we say in Louisiana, laissez le bon temps rouler. The Orleans in the Ville with our made-from-scratch red beans, jambalaya, gumbo, po' boys, and made-fresh daily muffaladas right here in Collierville. Eat, drink, and stay for dessert like our homemade bread pudding with warm bourbon sauce. Monday through Friday, meat and two with homemade veggies, so good you'll bring your mom and them. Brunch every Saturday and Sunday. Right here, the Orleans in the Ville, 336 New Byhalia Road. where great food, live music, and endless fun meet.
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director at Lexus in Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 901-271-5199.
When you're vacationing in your RV, there are some things you can always count on. Taking the kayaks out on the lake, hot dogs on the grill, and your sister's boyfriend pulling out his acoustic guitar.
Everyone quiet! Harrison's playing. Wow, you're so good, Harrison.
With Progressive, your RV is protected 24/7, so you're prepared for whatever you don't see coming. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in D.C.
Rick's Powder Coating for a beautiful finish every time. Rick's Powder Coating specializes in automotive, ornamental, residential, and industrial coating. With 2 conveyor lines and the largest batch ovens in the Mid-South, Rick's can accommodate all of your powder coating needs. Locally owned and operated since 2002, Rick's Powder Coating will customize a beautiful finish just for you. Drop by or call to see how Rick's Powder Coating can bring color to your life. 901-367-2771 or rickspowdercoating.com.
Napa Cafe celebrates 28 years in 2026.
Hi, I'm Glenda Hastings, owner of Napa Cafe, and I want to thank you for making us part of your dining experiences. If you are a first-time guest or have dined with us countless times, I want to thank you for making us part of your lives. Whether you're celebrating with the crowd or planning a cozy date night on the town, Napa Cafe can provide you an extraordinary evening. We have 5 dining rooms, including our private wine cellar, our Jan's room for 2 guests, and the Eleanor room for parties up to 60. Sit back, relax, and celebrate. Leave the cooking to us. Come see me at Napa Cafe, 5101 Sanderlin Avenue. We're open Wednesday through Saturday for dinner starting at 5 o'clock. We also offer curbside pickup from our full menu. For details on our stay-in, dine-out menu or reservations, visit our website at napacafe.com. We can't wait to serve you.
Come join in and celebrate 28 years of Napa Cafe in 2026.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour brought to you by Landers Ford in Collierville. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Brian Dacus.
And she says, I wish that I could be like
Big Daddy.
Hello, Big Brand.
It's a guy, he wants to be big, then he gets big, he doesn't want to be big anymore, then he gets small, but the suit's too big.
Big Daddy.
The big boy.
You're a big guy. I think she's trying to pull a fast one on Big Daddy.
The big number of the day.
Well, before we get to big number of the day, I did want to point this out. We were talking draft and talking about Travis Burke, kind of a local tie playing at Memphis. Could be drafted anywhere between the 4th and the 7th round. Should also mention Jake Golday, the former Arlington High School product, started his career at Central Arkansas, played at Cincinnati most recently. He's getting some 4th round grades somewhere around there for the draft. So a lot of local ties in this NFL draft will be fun to watch over the weekend. But my big number of the day today, it comes from Major League Baseball, and it comes from the Chicago White Sox. Now, Brett, might be a first that we have had a big number, a positive big number, regarding the Chicago White Sox. There's probably been a lot of times we've had negative numbers regarding the Chicago White Sox, but this is a good big number. It is the number 30. Munetake Murakami, the star for the Chicago White Sox, has 30 combined home runs and walks through his first 23 games in Major League Baseball. He had another home run last night. That was 4 straight games with a home run. That is 3 games fewer than any other player to debut in the live ball era, which is since 1920, has needed to reach that total, which the last time was Alvin Davis, who did it in 26
for
games.
Seattle.
That's right. So really good stuff from Murakami up on the south side.
They're improved.
No, they're a fun team to watch. They've got a lot of young guys that they have brought up and are playing in the pitching rotation, out in the field, and also the addition Murakami. He's been a lot of fun to watch, and I think the fear is he's got stardom written all over him. Can they keep him there? I really don't know. My brother, big White Sox fan, he's trying to convince me that they can. I don't believe him. I think he'll be off to one of these bigger markets. But for right now, they are a fun team to watch.
Connor's team's got hope. The north side of Chicago, the Cubs are hot.
They're playing really well. And against the Phillies, which the Phillies have been struggling with all those big names in their lineup. But Chicago, they've got the job done so far.
And the Phillies are right up there with the big spenders.
No, they definitely are. And just not able to make it click early in the season.
Landon's poor Mets.
No,
That's a dozen.
They're
cousin.
terrible. They're awful. I mean,
Tonight would be Baker's dozen. They don't play tonight.
Do they not play tonight?
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do.
Tonight.
Yeah. Going for 13 in a row.
Yeah, I mean they're awful. I watched that whole game last night and got up 3-0. It was a home run, a 3-run shot from Lindor, and it looked like okay, here we go. And then 7th and 8th inning, I think it was.
Pitching.
Here comes their bullpen is just really really bad, and just did not have any answers for the Twins. Twins come back and win it in the 9th, so it is getting really ugly up there.
It has, and up getting close to getting late early.
No, it really is. I mean, you look at just the record to see the Mets 7-16. I mean, again, I know it's still very early in the season, but to see that type of record, it is like their worst start since 2002. I think they said after the game last night. I mean, it's just really, really bad stuff going on.
How is Mr. Met doing?
I don't know. That's a great question.
Is he taking it tough?
I don't know. Mr. and Mrs. Met. I gotta think about both of them.
That's right. We got a couple.
They're going through it right now because it's been rough. But man, they have no answers. The bats are cold. The pitching's not very good. I mean,
weather's cold.
It looked cold out there last night. So we'll see if Clay Holmes is the answer tonight. He's been pretty good going up against a major league debut for Connor Prelip, who's starting for the Twins. So we'll see if they can get it done tonight.
The Frank Viola's the Sweet Music Bowl. Once a Met, once a Twin. Frankie Sweet Music.
How about that?
My big number is 56. It's been 56 years since the host city, the Pittsburgh Steelers, last were the number 1 overall pick. And the draft wasn't in Pittsburgh then. 1970, the last time the Steelers had the number 1 pick. They went 1-13 that year. They won the coin toss against the other 1-13 team. That's the Chicago Bears. The Bears beat them in the regular season, though. Should have had the tiebreaker, but they didn't do it that way. If you were tied, what are you doing?
That? I mean,
that's up there with Coach Bartow having to play that game in Nashville against Louisville, isn't it?
Yeah, that's that. I don't know if that one can be topped. That's crazy.
That is crazy. And who did they take? They took the blonde bomber. I know. I mean, I said. Not a nice comment yesterday about Terry Bradshaw, but he was a great player, and he was once a entertaining, fun announcer. Just those days are over.
Well, yeah.
It happens to everyone, and it's happened a long time ago. But the blonde bomber out of Woodlawn High in Shreveport, everybody knew who he was coming out of high school. Stayed home, went to Louisiana Tech at Ruston, stayed in Louisiana, and then was the number 1 overall pick that year. The coin toss was with a 1921 silver dollar, and it was in New Orleans at the Super Bowl where they did the coin toss.
Wow. Okay.
Very different.
I really don't know what to say to that. That is
the Bears had the second pick, traded it to the Packers, and the Packers took a defensive lineman. The next quarterback that was drafted out of that year was Mike Phipps out of Purdue, a good player, but not a great player. He went to Cleveland.
Wow. Yeah, it's going to be fun tomorrow night. I'm excited to see what it looks like up
League
there
meeting,
in
not
Pittsburgh.
Super Bowl in New Orleans. League meeting in New Orleans.
Interesting. That's weird stuff. But now I'm excited. I think
who had the handy 21 silver dollar?
No kidding.
That's only worth a lot of money now.
Yeah, I mean, did they have it tucked away? This is going to be our special quarter or coin that we're gonna toss for the.
That and Joe Green the year before changed the Steelers.
Yeah. Oh no, it absolutely did. And so tomorrow should be fun. I know a lot of people are excited about it, but I am excited to see what it looks like up there in Pittsburgh for this NFL draft. But we're going to get to a break here in a second. Before we do that, let me remind you, perfect time, looking for a night out, maybe looking for a place to watch the draft tomorrow night or over the weekend. Well, I've got the perfect spot for you. It's Bell Tavern, located at 117 Barbaro Alley, Bell Tavern. It's the perfect bar for a night out with your friends, or if you just want a night out, solo night out, and be able to watch a game, it's the perfect spot for that. It's not one of those loud, rowdy, obnoxious sports bars that you hate to go to. No, it's a quiet, very chill bar where you can enjoy a night out, but they've got all the TVs so you can keep up with all the games. While you're there, enjoy a night with one of their great cocktails in their quiet, dimly lit bar. And it's not just the drinks. Bell Tavern has some of the best bar food in Memphis. Pair one of their gourmet burgers with the coldest beer in the city for a perfect night out. For more information about our friends over at Bell Tavern, give them a call, 901-249-6580, or go online to belltavern.com. Well, we need to wrap up this second hour, get to another break. When we return, we're talking some more NBA. Rob Fisher from the Grizzlies TV Network, he joins us next.
Memphis, repping the Grizzlies, holler and go Tigers. Make sure your home or business looks like a winner too. Call Hall Power Washing Solutions. They handle power washing for driveways, sidewalks, and more, as well as soft wash, roof cleaning, gutters, and window cleaning. They're fully insured and bring the hot water for the toughest grind. Go to hallpowerwashingsolutions.com or call 901-258-1399 for more information and a free estimate. Hall Power Washing Solutions, turning Memphis grime into shine. Napa Cafe celebrates 28 years in 2026.
Hi, I'm Glenda Hastings, owner of Napa Cafe, and I want to thank you for making us part of your dining experiences. Treat yourself tonight with a delightful dinner. Maybe start with an appetizer like our baked sweet piquilla peppers stuffed with goat cheese and mozzarella, finished with basil pistou, and move on to one of our cozy dishes like the double chocolate stout braised boneless beef short ribs with tonkatsu sauce and creamy mashed potatoes. Or a fresh seafood dish like our pan-roasted ginger-buttered sea bass with cilantro soy vinaigrette. I get hungry just talking about it. Don't forget about dessert, our famous sweet buttermilk pie with brown sugar sauce, or drink your dessert with one of our signature dessert cocktails like the lemon cheesecake martini, lemony, icy, frothy, and dusted with graham cracker crumbs. Napa Cafe, open Wednesday through Saturday for dinner starting at 5 o'clock. For reservations, visit our website at napacafe.com. We can't wait to serve you.
Come join in and celebrate 28 years of Napa Cafe in 2026.
Do you know one of the best things you can do for your employees or family's health? Provide Arctic Clear bottled water. Arctic Clear bottled water is your locally owned and operated bottled water provider. Arctic Clear is 100% natural spring water with free delivery and setup, dependable service, and no long-term contracts. What an easy choice. Call Jeff Manus today, 901-382-2363, or visit arctic-clear.com. Arctic Clear bottled water. Call now, 382-2363. That's 382-2363.
The Pro Draft is this week, and you can trade on every pick on Kalshi. Will David Bailey or Arvell Reese be the number 2 pick? They're trading at 50-50, meaning you'll double your money if one of them wins. On Kalshi, you're trading against other people in the live market. No house and no odds makers. And as the odds move, you can buy in or out at any time throughout the draft. For a limited time, download the Kalshi app. Use code WATCH to get $10 when you trade 10. Kalshi, Kalshi. Trade on anything.
A long life is wonderful, but it comes with changes as you age. So when you're ready to change your home, Town Village Audubon Park is the perfect choice. Incredible location, amazing amenities, including a pool, all-inclusive dining, and on-site medical care so you can age in place. Monthly rental with no buy-in lets you make current choices. Apartments include full kitchen, washer and dryer, bi-weekly housekeeping, and all basic utilities. Landscape courtyards make it easy to get sunshine and fresh air. Gated parking keeps you ready to go. And the Town Village Dog Park keeps your fur baby close by your side. Hi, I'm Max. My wife Jean and I moved into Town Village Audubon Park 18 months ago. It's the best decision we ever made. We have made friends here and take part in lots of social activities. It's a comfortable life. So if you're thinking of making a change, come see me and Town Village Audubon Park. I think you'll like it as much as we do. And look, new friends.
This traffic report brought to you by Lauren Tag Hill of Ware Jones Realty. If you're buying a house or selling one and want fast action, contact Lauren Hill at warejones.com.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. More volume in the last 15, 20 minutes trying to get out of Midtown, especially on 240 South here at South Parkway. It's moving a little bit better. 40 East past Hollywood, where we had a crash there earlier as that traffic volume increases right on schedule, actually, on 240 East from Mill Branch. Out to 385 as you get on to Bill Morris Parkway. Bridal season just around the corner. Shop local at Weimer's Jewelry, conveniently located 7525 Highway 64. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Memphis's original sports station. We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis. Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you as we start our third and final hour on this Wednesday afternoon. We've got to talk some NBA. And joining us now, Rob Fisher from the Grizzlies TV network. He joins us to talk the NBA. Rob, thanks so much for joining us. Obviously, the playoffs are off and rolling, and last night was an interesting night. All the underdogs winning, one of those underdogs being the Lakers at home. What did you make of those three games that we saw last night?
Yeah, interesting. Because after the first 2 days of the playoffs, it felt like there might not be an interesting series because of all the 10-point wins, double-digit wins, even 30-point wins that we saw. It felt like, this first round's going to be a bore. But to have those teams come back and have three upsets last night was good. You know, the Lakers being a home dog for their first two home games was kind of weird. But, you know, with them being shorthanded, it made sense. But they were able to win those two games before going to Houston. So while it feels like an upset, they really just kind of took care of business. But the other two are interesting, especially with Wembanyama and his concussion protocol and what that's going to mean for the Spurs.
Yeah, we were thinking it was all going to be pretty chalky in the first round. Now we look up and we have series, but we know in all these, even when you steal one of those first two on the road, you got to get it to 2-1 to really feel like you've swung the momentum.
Yeah, and then when you do that, I mean, we remember you got to get it to 3-1.
Sure do.
You know, I mean, it doesn't end after the 2-1, especially when you're that road or that team that starts off on the road. You know, you come home, yeah, you took care of business, but now you have to take care of business on the home floor. And, you know, we saw with the Grizzlies and Golden State when they were up 2-1 and an opportunity to go up 3-1, and Golden State came in our house and took care of business and went on to win the series and won their first championship. So we know that that fourth game becomes even more important. This is the time of year where every game becomes the most important game. You know, Game 3 is the most important game now, especially for those teams that stole one on the road. But then if you win Game 3, Game 4 becomes the most important game. Then Game 5 becomes the most important game for the other team. Then Game 6 for the road team again is the most important game. So each one's going to be important, and, you know, the teams that can take it one game at a time. I mean, it's coach speak, and
Yep.
Brett, you've heard me say it many times. You
Yep.
know, the one game at a time attitude really is important this time of year.
It really is. So you're telling me that when I text you in November, must win, win of the year, worst loss of the year, and you would always tell me there's no such thing as a must win until you're in the playoffs.
Nope, not unless you're facing elimination on the last day of the regular season. There are no must wins until you get to this time of year, and
not in November. They're not must win in November.
No, Tuesday night in November against Milwaukee, not so much.
Definitely not. You mentioned that Wembanyama injury last night, the concussion. It was scary to see him go down, and then kind of nice to see that it was just a concussion. There are some people that are hoping that he is able to be back for that game on Friday. A very quick turnaround, but you do have a couple days off. If he is not in the lineup Friday night for the Spurs, what do you make of that game in Portland?
I think I still like San Antonio's talent, but I like Portland's ability to be able to dominate in the paint. Something without Wembanyama they would be able to do. They've been pretty good in the paint they were pretty good in game one, actually scoring in the paint. And then they came back in game two, and once Wemby went out, they really started to focus on going in the paint, and they were successful again. So I think it falls into Portland's ideal of how they'd like to play, is more so in the paint than out of the paint. And Wemby not being in there, I think, gives them a better chance to do that. But while I think if Wemby were to be done for the series, I still would pick San Antonio to win this series. I just think it would go a little bit longer than what I expected from the get-go.
Is Tiago Splitter coaching for his job?
Well, it sounds like it. I mean, I guess everybody...
Sounds like everybody's job's up for grabs with Portland.
Everybody in Portland's fighting for their jobs right now. Yeah, that's kind of how it sounds. And it's surprising to me. I mean, I think he's done a really good job with this team, and especially under the circumstances he had to take over to get them to the playoff and to be competitive and to win a game already in this series, I think is more than what was expected from the Portland Trailblazers. So I guess he's coaching for his job, unless he wants to take the low amount of money that they're going to offer for a head coach. I don't know.
Yeah, no, it is very strange what's going on over there in Portland.
Should we tell Tom Dundon that I know he's fabulously wealthy. I know he's created some great businesses. Although he's the guy that left. Now Charlie Ebersol was the real bad guy of the AAF. You remember the AAF, don't you, Rob? You went to a lot of games, didn't you?
Well, no, I missed them. I missed it.
You missed the whole thing.
Well, you blinked and you
I
missed it.
I had something going on that day.
Well, I tell you what you missed. You missed the silent disco, and I said it was really silent because it was like nobody at the silent disco. But he was the guy that was going to step in and bail out Charlie Ebersol when they figured out Charlie Ebersol was a con man, and he's done well with the Carolina Hurricanes in the NHL in the hockey. But now, should we tell him, you're not going to get any free agents sending out these signals?
Well, that certainly is the feeling right now with Portland. I mean, maybe his feeling towards players is different, although keeping the two-way guys home doesn't seem like it's not different. I would think that'd be if that's the case. If we're going cheap, yeah, unless you're a guy that's going to make nothing and you're getting a deal to go to Portland, then great. But I'm surprised at all these stories that are coming out and the way that he's handling things thus far, because it's just not done in the NBA. And it's about getting free agents. And in hockey, yeah, maybe it doesn't cost as much to get free agents, but it does in the NBA, and if you want to contend, that's what you're going to have to do. You don't necessarily have to do that in hockey to contend, and Carolina's been a contender. But Portland, man, I mean, to get guys to go to Portland, it's going to take something more than just the Moda Center and your teammates. I mean, it's going to take cash, and right now it looks like he's not going to be willing to spend it. So, yeah, I think it will certainly affect free agency.
Yeah, well, Rob, I'm going to quickly ask a different NBA question, because all this hockey talk, it's getting me excited. I'm about to start asking hockey questions to you, so I need to reel myself back in. Magic and Pistons, game 2 of that series tonight. Magic looked good in that first game after it's been really weird postseason so far for the Magic. They looked awful in their first playing game. They looked great in their second playing game. They looked great in the first game against the Pistons. Pistons looked really young and really inexperienced. Do you think that changes tonight?
I do, just because I think Detroit's the better basketball team. The problem with Orlando is, they're lower seeded than they should be, is based on talent. This is a team that should have been much better this year. We've heard about all the turmoil that they've gone through, really over the last month, especially, and it looked like if they didn't make the playoffs, they were going to be needing a new coach. If they get eliminated in this round, they might still be needing a new coach. I don't know, but I think when the playoffs start, the players kind of take over. All that crap going on in the locker room or outside the floor, that kind of just goes away. You buy in, you play, and you hoop. And I think that's what Orlando's done the last couple of games. I still think Detroit's better, and I think Detroit will be fine. I do expect Detroit to snap their 11-game home losing streak in the postseason tonight. But, Orlando, when they play well, they got the pieces. They got players that can put on a performance like they have their last two games. So I think it wouldn't shock me if Orlando came out and played super well again tonight and was able to knock off Detroit. But I just think Detroit will be better than they were in game one, and Detroit will settle in a little bit more and have the better effort tonight.
Rob, I said yesterday, Detroit, I think they will go on and win this series. They'll be so much better in that next round, kind of unencumbered by first time in a long time in the seed and all the newness, and they're a very young team. But they got to shake that off tonight. That's game one night. Game two tonight, I got a classic high hard one for you, starting right now. Never mind last year, never mind their histories. Going forward over the next 5 to 7 years, who wins more championships, Oklahoma City or the Dodgers?
I would say the Dodgers, just because of how they outspend everyone else, and it's not even close. I mean, I think the Dodgers have bought themselves a trip to the postseason every year.
To the LCS?
Yes, probably to the LCS. Every year they've bought that. You know, in basketball, one injury could change everything. And, you know, then, I mean, heck, we saw Oklahoma City last year. They struggled getting to the championship. I mean, they were forced to the brink a couple of times before they got to the championship. So it's I think the teams are a little closer than maybe in baseball they are. And like I said, Dodgers put themselves in position to be there in the postseason, possibly in the LCS every single year. So, you know, how many World Series are they going to be in? I would say probably in the next 10 years, a handful at least. And I don't know if you could say that about Oklahoma City, about being there a handful of times in the next 10 years, because contracts are going to come up too, and you have to make those tough decisions of who you're building around and who you're letting go.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting over these next couple of years for them. A really fun series, Nuggets and Timberwolves. They're tied up one apiece going back to Minnesota. And in that last game, you saw Nikola Jokic have some troubles against Rudy Gobert, a fun matchup there. What have you seen so far in this matchup?
I think Gobert has been impressive. You know, and I think Minnesota goes the way that Ant goes. He looked a little sluggish in game one, looked like he wasn't healthy, 100% healthy in game one, but he looked a lot better in game two. But they're a fun team to watch. It blows my mind of what Minnesota's been in the regular season the last 2 years, because I think they're better than that, but then they have off games that they're not, and I think they'll go the way of Ant, but Rudy Gobert is a huge, huge piece. The big thing for him is he's got to stay on the floor, and he can't get into foul trouble because his length can give Jokic some problems. You know, Jokic can still step out and shoot a three, but I'd rather have him step out and shoot a three than be in the paint and be able to, shoot his hook shot or just a lay-in or whatever, his floater. But Gobert can disrupt those. So I think the key with Nikola Jokic is take one thing away, whether it's the points, whether it's the assist, whether it's the rebounds. And I think Gobert can help neutralize the rebounds, and he can help maybe not neutralize, but at least bring down the scoring a little bit. I mean, Jokic had a triple-double, and it was kind of pedestrian.
Yeah.
So I think Minnesota could give them problems. I like Denver. The Jokic-Murray combination is just so good, and with Aaron Gordon healthy, that makes a big difference as well. So I love Denver, but Minnesota's fun to watch, and I think they'll keep the series interesting and take it a long way.
They are fun to watch, and they are fearless. They don't mind talking it, and they usually back it up in the comments about the Nuggets defense. We saw that on display in that late season game here, Rob, when it was probably the win of the year. If London wasn't beating Denver in March, was when Denver was trying and they could not put the Grizzlies away. So, I know Minnesota's got to win 4 games, but Minnesota's not scared of them, and it looks like they want to get rough with Jokic.
Well, and that's the thing with Minnesota. They're athletic and they got good size, not only in their starting 5 but in their second 5 as well. And because of that, it helps them defensively. It helps them switching. It helps them get they got guys with size that are going to get physical. Nas Reed's going to get physical with you. Gobert will get physical with you. I think that's one thing that is good for Minnesota this time of year. I think it's mainly the reason why Minnesota this time of year looks like a different team than they do look in the regular season, because they are the more physical team. And when you're the more physical team in the regular season, you're probably getting a lot of whistles. When you're the more physical team in the postseason, fewer whistles. You can play that way, and I think that benefits Minnesota.
We've talked about a lot of these playoff teams, but some news around the association with the teams that are already eliminated. Yesterday, we learned that Billy Donovan will not return as the Bulls head coach after 6 seasons with the organization. What did you make of that news? Because it seemed like he was going to be out. Everyone thought he was going to North Carolina, but then after they made the front office changes, it seemed like there was some momentum for him to be back next year. What did you make of that news yesterday?
I guess it was surprising only because of what you just said. And they made the moves in the front office, and a lot of times if there's going to be a coaching change, it's when the front office is hired and they want their own guy, and maybe they'll force him out. And maybe Billy Donovan just didn't want to deal with that, didn't want to be under new leadership in the Bulls organization. But the main thing I take out of it is it's about time. I mean, Billy Donovan's been there for how long?
6.
He was the third longest tenured coach in the NBA, if I'm not mistaken.
It's wild.
Is that right, Brett?
That is correct. And he didn't do much in Oklahoma City.
And he didn't do anything in Chicago. Now,
yeah.
Now they can talk about, he didn't have the talent, but I mean, they went through stretches where they were one of the worst teams in the league just about every year, and got themselves into a play-in situation a couple of times and weren't able to advance at all. But they haven't gone forward whatsoever. And whatever they've had roster-wise and the moves that they've made over the last few years roster-wise, it hasn't helped. It hasn't improved. And he hasn't really done anything. I mean, I know he's revered as a coach. And I know everyone's talking about it in North Carolina. And I know everyone's talking about if Golden were to go replace Steve Kerr at Golden State, that Billy Donovan's going back to Florida. Okay, maybe, but that was a long, long time ago that he was a college coach. And as far as an NBA coach, I don't know. I guess he'll get another shot because everybody thinks so highly of him. I just don't know what he's done.
And while this isn't old, but it's getting there. It's the birthday where you start having to have a fire extinguisher near the cake. He's around 60 now. He's not Billy the Kid anymore.
No, not at all. So I'm surprised it took this long. I mean, my friends who are Bulls fans, when I texted them the news, they were like, "Well, it's about time." So I think that's kind of the feeling in Chicago too. Let's get a clean sweep and just start over.
All right, you inspired me to get my seniority list out. Spoelstra 1, as of right now. Kerr 2, Tyronn Lue 3. They both both of those could be the next breaking story of changing. Dejanon, Oklahoma City 4. Chris Finch at 5. If they don't advance, that could be a shake-it-up move. Rick Carlisle 6. Jason Kidd 7. Jamal Mosley 8. It sure feels like things happen there. And as I've said before, never has anybody been more named that looks like Will Hardy than Will Hardy at 9.
Will Hardy's got a player on his team that looks just like him too, Walker Kessler.
He really does. Will Hardy looks like a Hardy boy, doesn't he?
He really does. But I like him, and I think they got some good things ahead in Utah, and I think he's the guy for them. I think. We'll see once they put a product on the floor that can compete. If he's a good coach or not. But I think he's done a good job tanking. So congratulations to him for that.
They had that down. That you couldn't touch them. When they came in here January, February or so, I told Jonah Dillon, I said they got it down. You just can't topple. There's no losing to them.
We got them on the last week of the season, though.
But it took a Herculean effort, didn't it? I mean, it took people that, boy, we could go through.
We got them. We got them by losing. Yeah, but it took an effort. It took guys playing 48 minutes that game.
It did. I mean, it threw us so off, we forgot the terminology. I mean, throw the record books out. No, you want the record books involved in these games.
Exactly.
you'll be proud of me. I did not lose my mind when we started the show today about the commissioner's comments, and I sure don't want to get you in a row with the commissioner of the NBA where you have to work. I almost dragged you into fighting with the owner, with Tom Dundon, so I don't want to get you into it with Adam Silver. But I didn't lose my mind. But you know, in St. Louis, having worked there and know it so well, and everything with losing the football teams, I didn't freak out, but I don't want games in Nashville. I want games on Beale Street, and I want them sold out. I want the lease signed.
I took it from Adam Silver when he mentioned that. I wish he wouldn't have mentioned that, because unfortunately I think that's what everybody's looking at in his comments, where the most important thing about the comments are the Grizzlies have no interest in leaving.
That's it.
Robert Parra has no interest in leaving. The NBA has no interest in the Grizzlies leaving. I thought those were the important things that should have been taken away. I think Silver just tried to be a man of the people by saying, "Oh, it'd be great if they played some games in Nashville." I don't even think that was a serious comment. I think it was just kind of popped in his head and he threw it out there. So I don't really take it that seriously, because I don't know. I don't see it happening. It doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me that he said that. It doesn't. I thought the rest of his statement was more important than that part, and to me, that part doesn't really matter. And as far as the lease and everything's concerned, yeah, I think those things will get done.
Yeah. No, it definitely feels like it was mostly positive, other than that one statement. But Rob. Yeah. As always, well, Rob, before, because you mentioned hockey, I tried not to talk any hockey here. Who wins the Stanley Cup?
Can Edmonton get back and do it this time?
Oh, I don't know.
They don't have Florida in the way, so why not?
It's been since '89.
That's true.
Yeah, and I mean, when you've got arguably the two best players in the league on your team, you got to have something to show for it. So maybe this is the year I'm rooting for Edmonton.
I like it. I would not be mad at that at all.
I'm a Flyer fan. I've been a Flyer fan all my life since October.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah, since October when I threw the Maple Leafs overboard. They can't hurt me anymore, Rob. I'm done with them.
Good time to jump off the bandwagon with them for sure. They were really good this year. Well, Rob, thanks so much for joining us, and we'll talk to you again next week.
All right, sounds good, fellas.
Thanks, Rob.
Thank you. Rob Fisher with us from Grizzlies TV. He's on our Sissy's Log Cabin guest line. Sissy's Log Cabin, big sponsors and supporter of the hometown teams, like at FedEx Forum with the Floor Seat Lounge and with the Tigers. The great location they have at 4542 Poplar. Bill Jones and his team, part of the fabric of the community. The Mid-South's largest selection of one-of-a-kind jewelry, engagement rings, wedding bands, necklaces, earrings, those special moments, for those special times, for those special people. 9,000 square foot store in Laurelwood with expanded lines for Rolex, Cartier, diamonds, and more. Mother's Day coming up, and then Father's Day. Hey, how about for Dad? Something in that Rolex department since 1970, with all the great locations across the Mid-South. Sissy's, they offer a selection of diamonds, estate jewelry, and fine gifts. Official jeweler for the hometown teams like the Grizzlies, and at FedEx Forum with the Floor Seat Lounge. Unsurpassed value, exceptional service, expansive selection, and an extraordinary shopping experience, because life's too short for ordinary jewelry.
Well, let's get to another break, and when we return, we'll talk about what's trending.
Add a little fun to your lunch break. Join Johnny Radio for Sports 56 Happy Hour from 11 to 1 every weekday on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Memphis is a love song to soul and style. With the full suite of sought-after designers, brilliant natural diamonds, an elegant bar, luxury VIP lounge, and more, a trip to our store is an experience like no other. Just like the city we love. Stop by any of our stores or visit sissyslogcabin.com and experience Sissy's for yourself. Memphis is our home, and we're your jeweler.
Sissy's Log Cabin, because life's too short for ordinary jewelry.
Since 1948, in the alley, the Rendezvous. I'm with John Burgos. John, what's going on in the Rendezvous?
Brett, there's some things about the Rendezvous I want to talk about. For example, we make it really easy to park. We have valet parking right at Monroe Street in our alley. We also want to make it easy for people to get to-go orders. You can now park in our alley right at our front door and put your flashers on. People also forget that we take reservations for 6 or more. And we have a wonderful party room upstairs that can accommodate people for rehearsal dinners, birthday parties, reunions, graduations. Our rooms seat between 25 and 200 275 people. And everything at the Rendezvous can be packed to go. Brett, we also do catering. See our menu online, and we can even deliver for groups of 15 or more. So if you have any questions, always feel free to call us at the Rendezvous because we answer our phone ourselves. You'll never hear, please listen carefully for our menu has changed. Press 1 for reservations, press 2 for hours, press 3 for catering, or if you know your party's 9-digit extension number and the first 3 letters of their mother's maiden name, dial it now. Come see us at the Rendezvous.
Since 1948, the Rendezvous.
Men, if you're tired of relying on pills and want lasting, natural performance in the bedroom, Bluff City Health and Wellness offers Apex RF. Backed by clinical research, this discreet 15-minute, non-surgical treatment boosts blood flow, sensitivity, and confidence. No pills, no needles, no side effects. Appointments are filling fast. Call Bluff City Health and Wellness today at 901-800-7606 or take the ED quiz at bchwonline.com. Bluff City Health and Wellness, your confidence in the bedroom naturally.
Looking for sports in all the wrong places? Try the Owner's Box Sports Bar and Grill in Lakeland's Town Square. Fun, exciting, friendly, and comfortable with wall-to-wall TVs. 24 taps for all your beers, including $3 domestic and $5 craft pints on Mondays. Monday through Friday, 3 to 6 happy hour. Music bingo Tuesdays. Daily specials and online ordering. The Owner's Box Sports Bar and Grill in Lakeland's Town Square. Highway 70. Check Facebook for daily specials and weekend music at the Owner's Box.
After a crash, insurance companies are counting on one thing, that you'll take less and move on. NST doesn't play that game. For over 35 years, we've gone toe-to-toe with insurance companies and won billions for Memphis families. If you've been injured, get the backup that knows the system and knows how to win. The call is risk-free, and you don't pay a cent unless we win. NST is the way to go. Call 683-7000 or visit nstlaw.com.
This traffic brought to you by Old Dominick Distillery. Come for the spirits, stay for the experience. Cheers to Memphis. Learn more at olddominick.com.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. We've had quite a bit of volume trying to get down through DeSoto County in the last few minutes. It's been a little bit slow, just south of South Haven into DeSoto County there, south of Memphis, a little extra time. It's been busy over here on 40 East trying to get past Hollywood from our earlier crash, just mostly rubbernecking delays up through there. Heavy traffic building now on 40 East from Sycamore View Road out past Germantown Parkway. Bridal season just around the corner. Shop local at Weimer's Jewelry, 7525 Highway 64. Stop by and see David right now. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back in Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you as we've got about 30 minutes left in today's show. We got to talk about what's trending and a lot of things trending this afternoon. But one thing that has been trending since we started, it looks like Alabama making news because they have extended Kalen DeBoer. He has reached a new 7-year contract with Alabama that will pay him $12.5 million per season, the university announced on Wednesday. So Kalen DeBoer getting a big contract with Alabama.
2 years into one of the more unthinkable positions to be in the history of college sports, to replace, I think, the greatest coach in the history of college sports, basketball or football. He's 20-8 through 2 years. Ray Perkins, when he replaced the then greatest coach in the history of college football, Coach Barrett Bryant, he was 17-11 at the 28-game mark. That wasn't exactly – it was a little more than 2 years then. Kalen DeBoer did get to the playoffs last year. He did win a game last year, and he did get slaughtered in the Rose Bowl. And he has a tough opening night opponent. They're going to beat East Carolina, but if that's a game with 5 minutes to go, these headlines today make it more frustrating and aggravating for the fans that are there that day.
Yeah, I think you bring up a really good point about, we all knew that it was an impossible job for whoever it was. Insert any head coach name you want. To replace Nick Saban was going to be an impossible task. And so,
who knew Bill Belichick wanted to be at the college level?
Well, that's true. But you look at the record, it's been, pretty good. It's just that you're coming after Nick Saban. And so the expectation is a lot higher than what it is at a lot of other places. But you're right. If Alabama fans go into next season and it gets ugly early, if it's maybe a loss early in the season, they're going to be pointing to that and say, why in the world did we ever agree to a 7-year deal with him?
They can take the fans, and the fans have not been that restless. I think they know, look, this is, and the story that he ran toward the fire, that he wanted it.
Yeah.
I think they have embraced that. They have not, it has not been undue. Now, the most restless they got was really, they were never in the Rose Bowl. That was over, Bryant, immediately.
No, I mean they weren't in that at all. It wasn't even a game.
You knew it 14-0. Just Indiana can name the score.
Yeah. It was ugly, and so yeah. I mean, I think the fan base has been pretty good about it. Now, if that happens again this year, where you just kind of sneak into the playoffs and then it's another early exit and it's ugly like it was this past year, yeah. I mean, then we might have to start talking about fan base getting a little uneasy.
And some of the few questions of the unease, it hadn't been a lot, but the against the FSU, people were questioning the effort, the E word. Some of the sideline decor, very different than when Coach Saban ran it. But the stories, and we knew they would. And I said it at his retirement announcement around those times. I said, we didn't get to enjoy Coach Bryant's retirement years because, month after coaching here in his final game in the historic Liberty Bowl and that win, he passed, he died. And so really didn't, get to enjoy it, didn't get to see him out there. I still don't think I can imagine him being on a stage with a grown man sitting there in his Speedo. But these are the times, and Coach Saban's role on game day is great. How is McAfee? Wasn't he carted out on a stretcher Saturday?
Yeah. Oh, Brett. Landon can speak more to it than I can. Jelly Roll put him through a table at WrestleMania. So he had the neck brace on. He was walking around. I think he went to.
He's going to make it.
It's tragic. I think he's going to make it. I believe he was at a 50 Cent concert after the first night of WrestleMania with Tyrese Halliburton in the neck brace. I think he was doing a show Monday in a neck brace. So I think he's healing well. But it got ugly, Brett.
Neck brace or Bobby Petrino neck brace?
Well, Brett, I'll let your imagination go wherever you want with it.
Did Kennedy neck brace after Chappaquiddick?
Yeah, Brett, I think
really necessary.
You can insert several examples, I think, of what type of neck brace it may or may not have been. But I am not the wrestling guy, so I do not want to overstep my boundaries here.
But back to we're getting so many great stories out just how he ran that shop, and they had it down.
Oh yeah,
they had it down like some of the old communist bloc countries had for their like these German Olympic team. And one of my favorite stories I've heard, he tells it. Mark Ingram said that Coach Saban went to the diet people and said, I don't know the exact weight, but I want him playing at 228, whatever it was. I want him playing at 228, and like the diet person said, no, Coach, we think he's more effective. He said, I want him at 228. I want him when he gets to the line of scrimmage, if there's no hole there, quick enough to kick it outside, and then I want the right weight for him to be able to run inside and take the pounding. Let me decide what weight he's going to be at. You just make sure he gets to it and weigh him every day at the same time.
Wow, that's crazy. But hey, that's how he ran his program, and he was really good at it.
A genius.
Oh yeah, no, very very much a genius.
But if Bama loses any game before Georgia, and this contract will make it worse. Now, they're undefeated through Georgia and through third Saturday and until going to Baton Rouge in November.
Yeah, I mean,
every penny's worth it.
Everything's fine.
Vern looks great.
Yeah, but we talk about a lot of you don't want to get to a point where you get away from what you were as a program. No matter what that level was, you don't want to spend too much time not being there because it can go away very quickly. And so, while they're okay now, I think it could quickly turn if it's not, a big step of improvement this year.
Do we know that Kalen DeBoer is a top 5 coach in the SEC?
That's a good question. I don't
this
think
year
so.
Tell a lot.
It will. It's a big year. It is.
Kirby, Lane, Sark.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm not even thinking about it. That's 3.
There's some really good coaches, so I really don't know. But I think you're right. This year is a
Elko?
very big week. Yeah. I mean, it's a big year for him, and we'll see how Alabama does. Over in college basketball, some news out, some draft news. Also earlier today, I guess before getting to the draft news, a reporter asked Todd Golden about his future at Florida, and the question was, quote, "And you're back for sure," end of quote. Todd Golden's response, "That's an interesting question, Mark. I'm definitely planning on coaching the Gators." I think Todd Golden's back next year, but man, you could read a lot into that quote.
Sure can. They know what they're doing. If it's anything but the period, if it's exclamation mark or 3 dots or a question mark, you're in trouble.
Yeah, I mean, it's again, like, I think he's back next year. I think you bring all these guys back, it'd be very hard for a head coach to say, "Fellas, I'm leaving. I'm going to Golden State. Have fun with whoever comes in after me," unless it's, hey, we've got, somebody in the waiting, whether it's Billy Donovan, whether it's an assistant coach, somebody. I just feel like it's very tough. But at the same time, if you're a coach and you have dreams of coaching in the NBA, Golden State Warriors, with what they've done over the last 10, 12 years, that's a pretty good gig to have your first NBA coaching job.
Brian, earlier today in Huntsville, I joined Brent Beard's brother, Brett, and his partner, Harold Bugg, and we were talking about Billy Donovan, and the point came up. He's no longer, and we said it with Rob, he's just not Billy the Kid anymore.
Mm-mm. No, I mean, he's grown up, and
he was
keep going.
I mean, he hadn't shaved at the 1987 Final Four, but next spring, that's 40 years ago.
Yeah, he's what, 60 now? So I mean, he is getting up there in age, and a lot of time has passed. And look, the college basketball is very different from what it was when he was taking Florida to those successful years and all the tournament appearances. I think it is more professional than it is or now than it was back then. That might help him, but yeah, I mean, it's the game of basketball has changed. The way it operates has changed over the years, and I don't know what is next for Billy Donovan, but I don't think he's done. I think we're going to see him somewhere, whether it's NBA or college.
I was this year, but I think we're going to be doubly amazed next year with some of the better teams of just how big they are.
Yeah.
You hear they're as big as the NBA team. There are a couple bigger.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, size is really key, and you're seeing teams, really go out there and prioritize size. And I mean, I saw earlier today I forget his name, the Bonk fella who was at Charlotte last year. I mean, massive 7'2" guy who was going to test the draft. There was really, I guess he's still maybe testing the draft. I don't think there's a chance he goes to the draft, but was a guy that didn't have a lot of, wasn't averaging a ton. He goes to Michigan State today and commits to Michigan State. So, teams are prioritizing size and thinking that if we can bring some bigs in, we can get them to a point where they can at least do a little bit of something for us. So, yeah, I think you're going to see a lot of really big teams out there.
An official release of the 2 Tiger players that we knew were coming back.
Yeah, so they'll both be back next year, and you felt pretty good about that when the news came out that they were going to be back. Obviously, there was always the opening for something, but made it through the portal deadline with both those guys still locked in. They make the official announcement earlier today, and now we'll see what Penny Hardaway can do with all these visitors this week. Had one on Monday, one yesterday, one today, so we'll see if we can start seeing some commitments over the next couple days into the weekend as he looks to try to build another roster for another year.
And a couple of American teams doing a nice job out there.
Yeah, Charlotte doing a really nice job. They brought in a top 60 guy committed earlier today. They had the point guard, Jizzle James, that was at Cincinnati with Wes Miller. So they're doing a good job over there. A couple other programs having some success through the portal. So, I think it's going to be a good, decent, better conference next year than what it was this past season.
It's time for road trips and ready to see the country, and you can start all the road trips and the summertime trips and the springtime trips all at All-Star Chevrolet in Olive Branch, right there in Olive Branch off Highway 78, Kraft Goodman Road, first exit when you cross into Mississippi. That's where you are, the one place that has the new Traverse, the Tahoe, and the Suburban with third-row seats. You can pack up your family and the neighbors and head off on a summertime road trip in that. New Silverados with April deals that add up to thousands in savings. Financing as low as 1.9. Go big with a new HD Silverado and make no payment for 90 days. That's pushing football season. Your good credit deserves it, and you'll get it at All-Star, and that's where Drew DePriest and his great team, they always take care of military and first responders first by giving them an extra $500 bonus on any purchase. Nobody beats All-Star Chevy, certified and pre-owned selection. Nobody in this area. Every commercial Chevy truck and cargo van you can imagine, it's right there ready to work for you and your business that you're working so hard in. And all the certified or pre-owned Tahoes, Trailblazers, Silverados, Equinox, and those Corvettes right around in that in this great weather. If you have any vehicle you want to sell, bring it to All-Star in Olive Branch and get the most money back for it, whether you bought it there or not. Don't miss the work or vacation event going on now in Olive Branch at All-Star Chevrolet. For more information, you can always go to allstarautogroup.com.
Last thing before we get to our final break, some news out there on Nate Ament. Earlier today, Kevin O'Connell had a podcast where he talked about Nate Ament, and that based on what he is hearing, that Nate Ament's representatives are split on whether he should stay in college or go to the NBA. Quote, league front office executives tell me that his agency, Lift Sports Management, is split on the decision because they believe that Ament could be the number one pick in 2027. If Ament falls outside of the lottery, he'd be playing for less money this year and potentially hurting his future earnings. For financial reasons, it may make sense to return, and more importantly, for his own development, to get one more year of to improve physically and progress his skills. So, some uncertainty there on what Nate Ament will do. Tennessee has had a really nice offseason. If they can bring him back, that could be a real force next year for Rick Barnes.
Yeah, they lost the big man, but they're getting in players. 3 straight Elite Eights. Yeah. It's only one more step. Rick Barnes needs to take it. The other UT.
That's right. No, he absolutely does. And so it feels like they're doing a nice job, and I know a lot of fans will be watching to see what Nate Ament does over this next month with what he hears back from teams on the draft. But let's get to our final break, and when we return, we'll wrap up today's show with Moe's Crunch Time.
Join the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin, for Wolo and Friends. Weekday mornings from 10 to 11 here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Here's something you don't see every day. It's a full-on brawl at Family Leisure. Oh, yeah. There's a battle of the brands happening right now through May the 10th, with 7 different manufacturers all fighting it out for your business. Listen to this opening blow. Hot tubs starting at $34.99. Ouch! Then followed up with a mean right hook of swim spas starting at $16,999. That's a starting price. There are so many deals right now at Family Leisure, and the prices are just too low for me to even mention on the radio. One thing I can tell you, if you stop by Family Leisure and tell them you heard this on the radio, you're going to get a free cover lift with your spa purchase. But you better hurry in before all these great deals get knocked out. Technically, this is called the Hot Tub and Swim Spa Expo, but we're calling it the Battle of the Brands, happening now through May 10th at Family Leisure, Whitten Road and I-40, where family and fun come together.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roof Services. I wanted to take a minute and discuss advertising with you. There are so many websites that list the best service provider in your area. Even the BBB has an accredited list. You know the one thing they all have in common? A company like mine has to pay to get on that list. So that begs the question, can those lists be trusted? You know what can be trusted? History. We've been around for almost 30 years providing customers with the best service and the best products that we possibly can. So if you need a roof, siding, or gutters, give us a call. We'll come talk to you and let you decide for yourself whether or not we know what we're talking about. Fiveash Roof Services. Best products, best warranties, and in many cases, the best price. We're fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or MemphisRoofer.com. 367-0050 or MemphisRoofer.com.
Fiveash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
In case you haven't noticed, things are hopping in downtown Memphis. Spring is in the air and people are out on the streets, and one of the best places to be downtown right now is Bell Tavern, Memphis's perfect downtown neighborhood bar. And while Bell Tavern is renowned for its ice-cold beer, signature cocktails, and genuinely friendly staff, you can also get a tasty meal there. Nothing fancy, just the kind of pub grub you expect to find in a place like Bell Tavern. The thing about Bell Tavern is It's an oasis that always delivers.
Volkswagen Driver Days is going strong, and Gossett Volkswagen's got you covered on the pike. Get out here right now and get sporty 2026 Jetta S. We Gossett now just $249 a month. $249 a month for Jetta S. How about 2026 Tiguan S? We Gossett $269 a month. Yes, $269 a month for Tiguan S. And if you're looking for performance, style, and technology, look no further than 2026 Atlas SE. We Gossett at $319 a month. Or get 0% for 60 months available. You ready for a new ride? Well, we got you covered at Gossett Volkswagen on the Pike, 1875 Covington Pike, or online, GossettBWMemphis.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 36-month lease, Jetta TM 005137, MSRP 25820, Tiguan TMO 14510, MSRP 32585, Atlas TC 515,398, MSRP 41841. Includes all rebates and incentives. Must be financed through Volkswagen Credit PF 895. Excludes tax, title, and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through end of the month. Dealer stock only.
Jason Bonham's Led Zeppelin Evening is coming to the Graceland Soundstage. Saturday, May 9th at 8 p.m. Jason's thunderous drumming recalls one of the greatest to ever sit behind the skins, his late father, John Bonham of Led Zeppelin. This is as close as you will ever get to letting the lead out live. Jason Bonham's Led Zeppelin Evening. Get your tickets today at GracelandLive.com.
Rebel Nation, get the latest on everything Ole Miss sports with the Cannon Motors of Mississippi Rebel Yell Hotline. Join Rebel insiders Chuck Rounsville, Yancey Porter, and Gary Darby Monday nights at 6 as they break down the latest with the Rebels, along with even more insight from special guests. Rebel Yell Hotline, Mondays at 6 p.m. on WHBQ.
Stay up to date with everything going on in Ole Miss athletics with Rebel Yell Hotline every Monday night from 6 to 7 on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
I'm Parker Trotz, a partner at NST Injury Attorneys. After a car accident, most people are overwhelmed. You're dealing with pain, stress, doctor visits, and trying to keep life moving forward. The last thing you should have to worry about is saying the wrong thing or making a mistake that affects your case. What many people don't realize is that insurance companies begin reviewing claims and making decisions very early. Statements get recorded, reports get evaluated, and once certain steps are taken, they can't always be undone. That's why having guidance early can make such a difference. One call can change everything. For over 35 years, our team has gone toe-to-toe with insurance companies and won billions by protecting people when they're most vulnerable and handling cases with care from the very beginning. Give us a call today. We'll review your case. NST is the way to go. Call 683-7000 or visit nstlaw.com.
Crunch Time is brought to you by Humdinger's Corporate Catering. Enjoy tacos made with crunchy slaw, grilled fish, and chicken, and the best taco sauce in town. Find out more, call Jenny Nash at 901-606-3172.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
This is pretty cool, and we're just getting started.
Spanning the globe.
Go crazy, folks! Go crazy!
This game has always been called the world's greatest cocktail party. Do you know what is going to happen here tonight?
This is for all the biggest Crunch Time.
You are looking live. In your life have you seen anything like that? Crunch time between the hedges.
The ball game is over, and Memphis has its first win in 16 tries. Its first win ever against its fierce in-state rival Tennessee.
It's obviously Crunch time.
Hammer, nail, coffin, this baby is over.
Crunch Time is brought to you by Moe's Southwest Grill. Need a crunchy bite to eat? Head to Moe's for nachos, crunch wraps, tacos, salads, and more. Moe's.com is your go-to for all your taco Crunch Time emergencies.
Sounds great. I'm starving.
Man, yeah, I could go for some Moe's right about now. But what I learned today, it's what Adam Silver said earlier today on Pardon My Take, making headlines, being asked specifically, and credit to those guys for asking the commissioner about the Grizzlies and bringing up up those type of questions so that, we could hear what the commissioner of the NBA had to say. But Adam Silver, it was pretty much all positive on the Grizzlies front. He talked about how, from what he's heard from players and people around the league, that people like Memphis, people like being in Memphis, but that more importantly, Robert Pera has no interest in moving the team, and that he has made that very clear. He said that they've been a great market. Memphis has been a great market for the NBA historically. So I think we can all take a little deep breath here, but
RELAX.
But let's just go ahead and get everything signed before the start of next season so that we don't have to worry about this anymore.
That's right. Sign the lease. That's the most pressing thing. What I learned, splattered glass, overtimes, bloody noses, more fighting than I can remember in playoff hockey. Usually it's just straight hockey. The hockey's been great that I've watched. And last night in Buffalo, you talking about water finding its level.
Yeah.
It found it.
Well, Brett, last night, I think it might have been in that game, there was a game where at one time, 5 players on the same team were all in the penalty box. So much, not enough room. One guy had to stand. One guy was just standing there. He couldn't sit down. There's just, it's.
I love it when they fight in the penalty box.
Oh, it's
when
great.
They jump over each other.
That's right. It is great. And the NHL playoffs have been a ton of fun to watch. So have the NBA. I think the playoffs have been great this year. What I could have done without, well, it is the Mets. Last night against the Twins, I saw some stat that said like 85% of the bets on that game were on Mets money line. Everybody thought that last night was the night
bet
that they
against
were going
streak. You can only win once.
Well, that's very true. But everyone thought last night was a good night to break that losing streak, and it looked like for most of that game they were going to be able to do that. But the bullpen let them down. The bats were pretty cold outside of the one home run, and the Mets lose again. But hey, the great thing about baseball, or maybe the worst thing about baseball, they're going right back out there tonight. Another opportunity to break that losing streak.
Right, there was a colorful guy at Oakland back in the day when I'd go over to the races, Hot Springs. He said, "That dew theory, it'll break you."
It will. It absolutely will.
What I could have done without this Tom Dundon ball breaker, the owner of Portland. This is the guy that was going to bail out the AAF after everyone found out Charlie Ebersol was a con man, and then he didn't fork over the cash. He is playing hardball with everybody in the Trailblazers organization, fans, business side people, everybody, players, coaches, everybody.
Yeah,
and I don't mind somebody running a business like a business, but it's the last business in the world to get in to do that in.
Exactly. It's just very, very weird, everything that he's doing.
You have to blow money to make money.
Exactly. And it's very, very weird stuff going on up in Portland. Where are you beaming tonight?
Dodgers at Giants, one of, I think, the two best rivalries in baseball with Red Sox and Yankees. And going into last night's play, now it's one game different, but going into last night, all time, it was Giants with 1,288 wins and the Dodgers with 1,288.
Wow. How about
the Giants
that?
have 1,289 now.
How about that? Interesting. That's good stuff. Yeah, that'll be a fun one to watch later tonight. Beam me to the game that gets started here in just a couple minutes. Magic and Pistons on ESPN. We saw the Magic win Game 1. Can the Pistons show more life in Game 2 tonight?
You know, sometimes in the hockey we'll have Dateline, Sunrise, Florida, or Tampa, or Phoenix.
Yeah.
Tonight, Dateline, Philadelphia, St. Paul, Edmonton. That's hockey town.
That's hockey town right there. Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. The hockey has been great pretty much every single night since the playoff has started. Basketball has been good. And we'll see. Do we get any more crazy upsets tonight? Magic looking to make that happen. Suns looking to shock the world as they're 17.5-point underdogs.
The Magic are playing with freedom.
They are. I mean, they're playing loose. It feels like maybe they're turning a corner at just the right time. But it is going to be a fun night. All the baseball, the basketball, and the hockey. But that's all the time we have. Enjoy the rest of your night. We'll talk to you again tomorrow afternoon.